The long-awaited for video is finally here. Welcome to the compilation video of me exposing my parents. If you guys have been keeping up with my story, you know that I have a very difficult, tumultuous relationship with my parents. And though I have spoken about it publicly on my ayahuasca videos, and that's why I started my whole journey with ayahuasca and plant medicine. I have a few videos here and there on my YouTube exposing like my mom harassing me on my phone, literally abusing me through my phone. Just endless amounts of text messages, just lots of Bible verses, lots of feeling holier than thou, and berating me in the name of God. This was happening up until I did go no contact and blocked her, but this is still happening to this day with my sister. She is still harassing my sister and being very much a narcissist and abusing my sister's phone that my sister pays for, and then getting upset if my sister shows it to me, even though my sister is going to be 36 this year. So this woman has not changed, and this man has not changed, as you will see in the first few videos where I pretty much recap what just happened. So my dad's birthday was on February 21st, and I reached out to be nice, but I did not remember all of the abusive things that they had done and said, because I've been out of contact since 2022, but I would only text to my dad on his birthday and Father's Day. For my mom, I was not doing that because she was even worse than my dad. But now they're both completely cut off, and I do not plan on, and I don't want to ever speak to them again, and I don't want them to ever reach out again. I don't ever want to see them again, because watching these videos back, I had my jaw on the floor. I had completely blocked it out. And I was just working on my healing process. So I wasn't going back and revisiting this stuff. I was just really working on purging my trauma, and you guys have been here for the journey. So going back and watching these videos from 2021 really opened my eyes to how abusive they really are. And I say are because they're still this way. I was silenced my entire life. And I wasn't allowed to speak about what went on in that house, and that happened to both my sister and I. So I will share my story, and I will expose my parents and continue to do so. This is just a little bit. These following videos that you're going to see were in the span from April of 2021 until about January of 2022. And then I went no contact in August of 2022. So it was a very, very short time span that all of this drama was happening. But imagine this on a daily basis. Every single day we were going through drama with these two very emotionally immature adults. So I just want to show you the dates of when it begins. So it starts in January of 2021. And then in April, 3 days before my mom's birthday of 2021, I delete them off Facebook. So you'll see that video. And you'll see some videos in between. I just want you guys to like make a mental note of like what I'm wearing. And that was on April 30th. We've got another one on their anniversary. That was a big deal, the anniversary. May 25th, 5 days after my birthday. And then the rest go on. I visited Florida in December of 2021. And then this is from January 4th of 2022. Some more videos, and then January 18th of 2022. I just wanted to give you guys a little timeline because you cannot see the dates on the videos, but just so you have an idea in your head of how short of a time span this was that I was dealing with all of this. My parents have never and will never care about my mental health. They do not care if I am unhappy. They do not care that I didn't want to be alive. They just don't care, because that means that I'm ungrateful, that I'm selfish, that I'm not reading the Bible enough, that I don't have a good enough relationship with God, and that it's all my fault for being unhappy in life. I'm not anymore now that they're gone, and I've been able to find my own journey and heal my trauma. But that's what I was going through at the time under their care. Okay. And they don't want to self-reflect. They don't want to look in the mirror. They don't want to figure out, dig a little deeper, find out why I was unhappy. They don't want to listen. It's all on the defense. They were perfect parents, even though my sister and I are the ones that get to decide that. But that's the way they see it. They will not grow. They're stunted. And I have given them over 30 years to right their wrongs and to, have some accountability, face the facts and try to fix and heal the relationship. They choose not to. It is not my job to fix it. It is not my sister's job to fix it. It is not our burden to carry, whatever their bullshit is. And therefore, I am releasing all this out into the universe. I'm giving it to God. I'm putting it on the internet because I know this is the one thing that really bothers them, is to be exposed like this. So I will be exposing because I will not be protecting my abusers. I just think it's funny because this sweater was actually given to me by my mom, and I think you will see it in the videos, and so I'm wearing it on purpose. This is how I heal. Okay, I have been no contact since August of 2022, and so I kind of forgot how bad it was. Looking back at this, I'm seeing it with brand new eyes, and I am doing this for the past version of me that was scared and terrified to speak out against my parents, who admired her parents, who loved her parents, who thought her parents were her heroes, who never thought her parents would ever hurt her or do anything with any harm, who really thought that her parents had her best interest in mind and really put her faith and her trust in her parents. And all her parents did was mistreat her. Not all. There obviously were good moments. I know that they're gonna say that, there were good moments, but the good moments do not outweigh the bad. You know how abusive relationships are. They will try to throw everything good that they've done in your face and then call you ungrateful because you don't want to ignore the bad. And the other excuse that they want to use is that this happened a long time ago. It's, like I said, still currently happening. Up until adulthood, my mom was still hitting me. I wasn't allowed to speak back to her. I wasn't allowed to defend myself. So she would backhand me, and then my lips would hit my teeth. And she would literally be like a demon running all around the house. And to this day, she's still like a cult leader with her family. She controls her family. She converted everybody to Seventh-day Adventist. And she thinks that she's right and she's God's representative. And she has a God complex. She's a narcissist and she needs mental help, but she refuses to see that, and I will no longer protect her image. And this is not disrespectful because I have every right to speak on the psychological warfare and torture that my sister and I have experienced at their hands. I hope that she sees this. I hope that my family sees this. I hope that the church sees this. I hope that all of my father's following from his little community see this. I hope that this gets around because these people refuse to see who they are. And maybe if other people see it, maybe they'll feel it a little more. But they never cared and will never care about me or my sister's mental health and how much their actions affect us. And so we're cutting them off. I've cut them off. My sister is low contact, and that's a blessing that they have that because I'm telling her to cut them off too. So if that ever happens, you have no reason to cry about it because you're still harassing my sister, and I'm not going to be quiet about that. Though the following videos, except for like the first three, are recent, but though the following compilation is from 2021, this has been happening all my life, and I have a lot of screenshots and recordings that I could expose if I want to. So it's really up to me when I feel like sharing this stuff. If I feel like sharing this stuff, I don't know if my parents even know that I have evidence of everything. So they can keep trying to harass my sister, harass my family, or try to get to me, but I still have more evidence. So I suggest you stop because the more that you keep going, the more I will expose. You're not going to win this fight because we're in the right and you're in the wrong, whether you want to see it or not. And abuse in the name of God is insane. I mean, have you ever thought about if hell exists, are you going to go there? Because your actions are going to lead to yes, you're going to go to hell. So I suggest you go repent, wash your feet of your sins, get baptized, and I don't know, give your life to God again, because I mean, this is insane that you're still acting this way in the name of God and thinking that this is how God would like you to act. I also want to say that I don't think I have record of this in this video, but when I was telling my mom all this stuff and telling her that she was a narcissist and how she was hurting me, she did say that she should just go die. And you will see in text messages my dad also said considered me dead. So yes, I do consider both of them dead. I don't care if they die today. And that may sound heartless, but they don't care that my mental health led me to wanting me to die. Okay, so I'm just matching energies, and honestly all they're doing is wreaking more havoc than anything good. So I'm okay with that. I don't feel bad about saying that. My mom always told me to go find another mother, and she used to pretend that she was dead. She used to like hold her breath and I would start crying. Then she'd be like, just kidding. So none of this should be offensive to her or a surprise because I'm just doing exactly what you wanted me to do my entire life. I have so many more stories that I could share, like the fact that my sister and I used to wake up because my mom would be slamming dishes and doors and yelling, and no one was ever allowed to say anything back to her because she would tell everybody to shut up or she would hit them. I used to have my dad's handprint on my thigh from how he would hit me, and their excuse always has been and always will be, that they were just disciplining their children, even though this was still going on into adulthood. That they were just disciplining their children, that's what the church says to do, I'm guessing. I don't know if that's a thing. I don't think the church tells them to do that. I think that they just think that that's okay because they grew up in Puerto Rico and disciplining your kid was hitting your kid. So even if I try to bring it up and say, this is abuse, they still don't see it. So it really doesn't matter what their opinion is because they are unevolved and uneducated. And when I say uneducated, I don't mean like college, even though my dad didn't finish college and my mom did graduate for a secretary, but then never actually had like a consistent job. Like my mom doesn't really know the value of a dollar, doesn't actually have to work to pay bills. My dad, he paid all the bills, and she was a stay-at-home mom. I'm not saying that that's an easy job. It's not. It's very difficult, and I think that it's what led her to be so angry and such a mean person. I think that the minute that my sister and I started to get a voice and speak up for ourselves and have a personality, they did not like that. They were very, very great parents when we were children. This is why we're such amazing kids, but it was very difficult. We walked on eggshells every single day. We suffered from depression, anxiety. It's led us to, well, me personally, to have bad abusive relationships, bad friendships. I was just not making good life decisions. And of course, if we say, oh, it's because of the upbringing, then they say, okay, we're the problem, it's all our fault. And it's like they refuse to like evolve. I don't know what's wrong with that boomer generation. I think that they were experimented on, maybe. They got stuck in that weird timeline where they just can't see past themselves, they can't see past their nose. So I'm very, very proud of myself. I never thought that I would be able to get out of it. I felt stuck. I felt like I was never going to be free. I felt like I always had to answer to my parents. My parents would tell me that, we know that when we get older, you're the one who's going to take care of us and not your sister because she's so hateful and selfish. But you will take care of us because you're the sweet one. So they were already trying to manipulate me into doing that. They did also financially abuse me at times by specifically my dad, by borrowing money and then not paying it back for a long time until my mom told him to pay back, or until I finally asked for the money back, and then he finally had it. But lying about when he would get the money back. They also like situations with Oliver, my dog, just expecting me to pay for a lot of stuff, and they paid for his diapers and for his food at the end of his life and did take care of him. So I do want to make that clear. It wasn't all the time, but I don't think that a father should be asking his daughter for money to pay bills, or his mother-in-law. So I was involved in the financial issues, so I will speak on it because it happened to me. At the end of my dog's life, when Oliver was dying, my dad would say, I just don't want Oliver to die because I feel like he's the only thing connecting us. He's the only connection we have to all four of us. And that's pathetic because he knew that he didn't form a real connection with us. And so he knew that my dog was the only thing connecting us. And it's sad that I wasn't even able to mourn the loss of my dog because they made it all about them. And at that point, I was praying for my dog to go so that I could get them off my back. And you'll see some of those stories in this compilation. And like I said, as of recently, I have started speaking out about this again on my socials, and my mom is still stalking me and creeping on me because she thinks that's her job as a mother. Even though I'm about to be 40 in 2 years, she is obsessed with me. She's a stalker. She watches me every single day. She will not let me go and live my own life. And so she's now harassing my sister and told my sister that my sister is poisoning me. So instead of her or my father taking accountability, now they're telling my sister that she is poisoning me, even though my sister's the one trying to keep the peace by still having any form of contact with them, even though she's always been very aware of who they really are. And they're lucky because I'm the one that tells her to cut them off. So I'm sharing my stories because I wish that I had someone to watch when I was in my position. In the past, when I was growing up, we didn't have social media the way that we have it now. I mean, like YouTube was when I was in college. Okay. So I didn't learn about narcissism till 2016 with an ex-boyfriend. It took me till 2020 to realize my own mother was a narcissist. Even through these videos, you'll see that I say like, it was nothing physical, but it was physical. They did hit me, but I still excused it as like that was normal because it was just reprimanding and disciplining your child. I am speaking out for, like I said, my sister and the past versions of me that were not allowed to speak out. She's still trying to silence, they're still trying to silence us, and I will not be silenced. I have a voice, I have a platform, and I will share my story because I know that I am helping so many other people heal that have been in the same position as me and died never being able to get out of it, never able to speak out, and the people who are currently in it right now who aren't able to speak out and feel like they're stuck. I just want to say that there is always a way out, and no matter how much you love this person, they do not love you, because that is not love. Mistreatment, berating someone, calling someone names, putting someone down, manipulating someone, holding something over their head, financial abuse, anything, physical abuse, emotional, psychological. There's so many different types of abuse. The person that you love and supposedly loves you should not be treating you this way. It is not okay. My parents used to tell me no one will love you the way that I love you, and yet they were abusing me. So what do you think happened? I ended up getting in abusive relationships, and then they would berate me for getting in these relationships. One time I was breaking up with a boyfriend and I told them about it, and they said, you always make the worst decisions. You always pick the worst guys. So why don't you just stay with this one? So, but yet it was all my fault, and nothing ever like went back to their parenting style. It's insane how they don't see it. So this is why I'm sharing these stories. I'm from Puerto Rico. I was born in 1987. My parents were born in 1963, 1964. And they're also from Puerto Rico, and this is how they think. And my mom is Seventh-day Adventist religious, and my dad just follows suit, but he doesn't actually follow it. So it was a very confusing household when my mom was telling me one thing and my dad was doing another. So it didn't make any sense. On the outside, we were picture perfect. My mom specifically prided herself on just having a perfect family and judging everybody else and telling everybody else that they were wrong. At one point, one of her sisters in 2006 died of ovarian cancer, and my mom said, confirmation, my mom said that's because she was promiscuous and slept with a lot of guys. So her own sister is dying of ovarian cancer, and that's what my mom tells me. The same sister told my cousins, those parents are controlling those girls. And one day those girls are going to wake up and they're going to know exactly what was going on. And ever since I got back from Joshua Tree, I have been channeling a lot of dead relatives, of people, dead loved ones. And so my aunt came through for me, and she is here with me speaking out, because my mom and her have gotten into actual fights, like hitting fights, and my mom had also hit her child. And yeah, he was being a little brat and disrespectful, but that is not my mother's position to be hitting her child, who, by the way, also did pass in 2017 in Puerto Rico. So I'm doing this for everyone who my mother has mistreated, and for anyone who my dad has, I don't know, done anything wrong, maybe borrowed money from, or just done something, just never stood up for them, didn't have their back when my mom was harassing or berating someone. They have each other's back, and so they love each other. They're putting it, my dad puts it all over Facebook that he's so blessed and so happy. So I want the world to know who they are, because I don't want anybody to be as hurt as I was by their actions. I don't want anybody to think that their actions are okay, and I don't want anyone to believe that they are people that they are not. They put on a mask. Even my own friends couldn't believe it, because they never saw that in person. But people know. People know who they really are, even if they don't see it as much. And so this is why I'm doing this, and it feels really good. Okay, so enjoy the next clips, and please leave your comments below. I would love to hear it. This is very healing for me. I love exposing everyone and everything, and this is the final boss, my parents. Fuck blood. Seriously, fuck blood. Okay, enjoy. It's really hard to have parents who are alive that you'd rather they be dead, because they hurt you with their actions every day. Okay? And my sister said, they don't care to get to know who you are. Nobody in my family cares to know who I really am. Only my sister. Girl, call him one last time. Another comment I got. Childhood trauma sucks, but you should try to forgive truly. Forgive yourself. Not for them, but because the childhood trauma is what's affecting you mentally and spiritually. My advice, random person on the internet, is to try to reach out. Go visit, have a moment with them both. Tell them you love them. Because if you don't heal while they're alive, your trauma might get worse and you won't have the opportunity to heal. It's a lot of victim blaming there. Yeah. And this person wanted me to call them one last time, because, the last 38 years has not been enough proof of who they really are. Let's talk about what happened. If you missed the last video, click on the comment, go watch it. It's a long one, but you got to get the background story. As you guys know, I reached out on my dad's birthday, because even though I am no contact, I would only unblock him on his birthday and Father's Day to say, happy birthday, happy Father's Day. For my mom, I do not do that. Normally, it goes well. It's just happy birthday text, thank you so much, back to block, all good. But things got a little suspicious when my text wasn't being delivered. He never replied. I messaged him then on Facebook, nothing. His birthday was February 21st. I texted this on the 22nd to let him know, no response, nothing. So he sends my sister a screenshot of our conversation that 2 days later, he says, my love, I just read the Facebook text you sent me. Please forgive me for not replying earlier. I didn't see this text until today. I don't know how I missed it. I feel so bad because I know you always text me and it really means a lot. God bless you. I love you. Oh my God, how sweet. And I find this out after I'm heartbroken, thinking that he purposely was ignoring me and all this stuff. So then I'm like, okay, so there must be some type of miscommunication. There's something fishy going on. My sister and I still believe our mother was involved because that's the type of person she is. But we don't know. We don't know the details, okay? So my sister relays the message. I decide to unblock him just so that I could say, okay, you know, I texted you happy birthday. So he could send me the reply back. He wanted to send it to me. Okay. I had unblocked him on my phone. Nothing came through. So on Facebook, I send this. And it showed me your text and said you resent it, but I never got it. I don't know what's going on. It's very strange. I texted you on your birthday and you still didn't see it till now. Here's where the true colors come out because they always come out very quickly. God bless you. It's really weird. The same thing happens with your mom. She'll call me saying she texted me, but I never received it. So I'm sorry for the confusion. Recuerda que Satanás es malo y no quiere vernos bien como familia. That's my mother speaking through him. Remember that Satan is evil and he doesn't want to see us like a good family. Satan? Well, Satan must be using both of you because the fuck? I did see your text on Facebook today. I check Facebook every few days. God bless you. I said, well, this has nothing to do with Satan. It has to do with mom's and your actions. But I just wanted to say happy birthday and I hope you had a great day. But I knew that he would just dig himself into a grave because he always does. Yes, I did have a great birthday weekend. I said, good, I'm glad. Please stop holding grudges. We all make mistakes. But I truly believe we should try to get past old situations. We'll never grow living in the past. Whenever, if ever you decide to talk, we're ready. You still don't see it. Okay, well, have a great life at this point because you still don't get it. I don't want to argue. Who's arguing? It's just a parent's wish. God bless. I said, you two are still the same. You have not grown. Don't worry, I won't reach out again. Sir, how are you going to sit here and say, I'm holding a grudge because I don't like the person you are and I'm setting a boundary? Holding a grudge and holding you accountable? Two different things. Not wanting to speak to you to protect my peace and set boundaries and disrespect? Two different things. We all make mistakes. Not an I'm sorry for anything, just we all make mistakes. But I really believe that we should get past old situations. They're not old situations. They're still happening. You're still gaslighting me. And you're still not acknowledging what happened. We'll never grow. You'll never grow. I grew. I don't know about you. I've grown, okay? Let's compare charts, like my sister said. Mom and dad versus me and my sister. 2020, 2025. My parents stagnant. My sister and I are thriving. I am a whole different person than I was in 2020. I've grown. You have not. I'm not living in the past. I'm living in the present. And what I see is that you're living in the past because you still see me as a baby. You still see me as this. And that's why you just want me to keep being this person. But I'm 38. And I see you as an adult. We're on even playing fields now. And I'm going to call you out because are you okay? Okay, I'll keep praying for you every day. I keep praying for yourself because you need it. Alex, why so much hate? Why you keep talking trash about your mom? I was only talking trash about my mom, but then you decided to jump into the conversation after so many years when you were never really present. Yes, you did pay the bills of the house for the home that you created with the family that you chose to have, but you weren't emotionally present. You were not there. You were there physically. You were not there mentally or emotionally. So I don't know why you're talking now. Why you keep talking trash about your mom? Let's be honest. You were not perfect, but I nearly was. Because I was killing myself trying to be perfect for both of you emotionally immature adults. You know, I made the decision not to watch your videos, but some family members, my mother, have, and they know how we were as parents. You only have to focus on the negative. Why? Well, like I said, my family, they don't care to know who I really am, and they clearly don't care to listen, which is why I don't talk to anybody. All of you want to gaslight me. Every single one of you want to gaslight me as if my sister and I aren't the ones who experienced you two as parents. So if we're going to give a performance review, we're the ones that get to judge, not you. You don't get to say that you were a great parent and whatever lies you want to tell yourself just because that's what you think in your head. We're the ones that lived it. Okay, so we're allowed to say it. And This is a loop that's gonna get me nowhere. But guess what? I'll never reach out again. I never talked about you publicly, but welcome to the club. Since you want to take sides, welcome to the club. My mother has brainwashed you, and you are not a real man to stand up. When my mother would hit me and yell at me, and you would say, Anne, stop hitting her. You're gonna lose your relationship with her. My mom would yell at you and turn into a demon, and you ran away like a scared little puppy. And you stopped standing up for me and defending me. You mentally checked out because my mom would berate you like she would berate everybody else in the house. And so you mentally checked out and let her take the reign. But on Facebook, you're posting as if you guys are so happy and in love and you're so blessed. So keep living in your blessing with my mother and her cult-like mentality and her narcissism, and you keep being her little flying monkey and enmeshed in a relationship. You chose this path. It's been 38 years. I do not need to call my father one last time to see how it goes. I do not need to forgive for myself. I'm good. My mental health is good. Everybody gets to see me thrive and live my best life. It is only when I decide to extend an olive branch and out of the goodness of my heart try to extend a little love that then I get pulled into their bullshit, and this is why I'm no contact. So people who watch other people cut their parents off or cut family members off and have the audacity to leave a comment like this one, you sound better with your mouth shut, which is what my mom used to tell me, because she wanted me to keep her name out of her mouth. You sound better with your mouth shut because you sound ignorant, and you sound like someone who has taken advantage of someone else or mistreated someone else, and it would make you feel better if that person just didn't ever tell the truth about you and expose you and just hid everything under the rug. That's what my parents want. They want me to just focus on the positive. I focus on the positive for the first 33 years of my life when I was blinded to the truth. So now that I've woken up, I have every right to take another 33 years or my entire lifetime to expose it, because you're still that person. You have not changed. You have not grown. You're still the same, both of you. And now I see right through you. Okay, so I was just trying to be nice. I actually don't even like you both as people. I've told you I don't like you either as people. So the fact that you're delusional enough to think that you have every right to talk to me the way that you're talking to me just because you paid the bills of the house until I moved out, and then I did all on my own, paid my own way through college, and I did it all by myself. You helped here and there, and I appreciate that, but that doesn't null and void all of the abuse I went through at both of your hands, whether you want to see it or not. Just because you're a boomer and you grew up in Puerto Rico and you think hitting your kids is okay and berating them and calling them names is okay, it's not. And I am an adult now, and I have a voice, and I have a platform, and I know it bothers you, and I don't care. I will be telling my stories. I will be speaking out, and I accept my journey. I chose this path. I know we did this, but guess what? I learned my lessons, and now it's time to learn yours. Don't ever leave a comment like this on somebody's page who is going through this journey, because it makes you sound ignorant, and it makes it sound like you excuse abuse. Anyways, I hope that was good enough for you guys, for everybody who has an opinion on what I should do with my life and my parents. I'm going to do what I want, and they can live their happy, blessed, culty life somewhere else, because I'm enjoying creating my dream life over here. Holy shit balls, you guys. I didn't get any sleep because I was so excited to post my video about my dad today, because I was like, haha, fuck both of you. I was over here like forgetting how abusive they were for a second because I haven't talked to them in so long. So it's like I kind of forgot, and I was over here remembering the good stuff, and I'm like, oh, I hope they're having a good time. They look like they're having fun on these travels, throwing snow and laughing. Oh, I'm over here crying like, oh, my dad, they're getting so old. Thank you, past me. Thank you, 2021 Alex, who documented everything. I documented everything on TikTok to friends only, and I told the stories, and I'm watching them back with my jaw on the floor. I forgot the shit that I just watched. So many videos, and they were from the span of like a week, that they were infesting my life. Oh my God, I'm gonna play just one story time for you guys, and I posted it on my mom's birthday, 4/24/21. I went no contact in August of 2022. The last time I texted my mom ever was for her birthday in 2023, and that's it. I haven't talked to her since. I posted this, and these videos are from 2021, because I had started doing shrooms, and I was having awakenings, and I was waking up to everything. And so I voiced it. I told both of them everything, time and time and time and time and time and time. Time. Do you know how a fucking broken record that I told these two fucking morons the issue? And they're so fucking abusive. I am watching back at this shit like I thought this was normal. I thought this was normal. Pissed off for myself. I'm getting pissed off again rewatching it, because it's like at the time I knew that it was like, growing up I didn't know that there was any issue, but then like in 2021 when I started realizing there were issues, I was very mature about it, and I was like explaining it and breaking it down and like giving them the terminology for what they were doing and all this shit. Everything was just back to me. I was driving myself crazy trying to like explain this shit to them. And it was just in circles and circles and circles and circles and circles. And I was like, oh my God. But like now listening back to the things that my dad said to me and my mom, and I'm like, I'm watching me as if I was just like a normal person on TikTok, hearing the story, and I'm shocked. I've screen recorded some and I've saved some, but I'm going to download all of these videos, and I'm going to make a compilation and put it on YouTube. And this is just in 2021. Just in 2021, that the things that were happening in just that little blip in time. You would think that the stories that I'm telling happened years apart. No. In days, I'm going through so much fucking stress and drama with these two fucking overgrown children. My dad, and I'm going to play you the clip, said, I wish you would have been in front of me so I could have knocked your teeth out. I should have hit you harder when you were a kid, because maybe you would listen. Suck my dick. Both of you can get all the way fucked. You could die today and I give zero fucks about it. I forgot all this shit. I mean, like, my dad also hit me, and my dad also, he berated me, just like my mom. And it's like, I kind of forgot about it. I don't know what happened, that like, there's some times where I'm like okay with my mom or okay with my dad, and it kind of shifts through this time. And they were just, and on top of that, I told you guys, like, no, I really do believe my dad. If he said he didn't see it, he didn't see it. Bitch, I'm watching these videos back. He was lying to me. He blocked me. Now, I don't know if it was him or my mom, right? Because we think my mom. I go, you blocked me. And he was like, I didn't block you. You're like the fourth person to say that. Interesting. Oh, I didn't get your text. Your mom says the same thing. Who's lying? One of you is lying. And it ain't me. They're two peas in a fucking pod. That's why they're together. They belong together. Two miserable little fucks. Two miserable little cockroaches. Get all the way fucked. Anybody who's in my comments, actually, you should forgive for yourself. There's nothing to forgive. What they did was for my growth, and I'm okay with it. I don't need to forgive them for what they did. They did it for my growth, and now this is the path that we're on. I don't even need their apologies anymore. I don't need the apology anymore. I used to want it, but they don't see it, so I don't need it. Every single time, they wouldn't say sorry. They say, just forgive me. Forgive me and move on. Okay, Alex, shut up. Alex, shut up. Literally, I have a video where somebody's like, oh, what's something that you've posted on Facebook that your family got upset about? I said everything I do pisses them off. Everything I do. So that's why now I do it on purpose, and I'm going to expose you even more. Those videos were on friends only, just as a form of therapy, so that I could have some form of release, and I could have a sounding board of people like being like, yeah, Alex, this is actually really abusive, because in my head, it wasn't abusive. I was just like, oh, I'm disrespectful for thinking that my parents could possibly be wrong when they're two just morons who had sex in their early 20s and 22 years old. And so I'm just like, I'm shocked watching this back, even though I like forgot, because I had been no contact for so long that I like literally, I knew it was bad, but I forgot how bad it was until I started watching these back. This is insane. So manipulative. There's nothing to forgive. I don't need to. People think you need to forgive to heal. You do not need to forgive to heal. You can accept that was part of your journey, and you can cut the ties and move on. You don't need to forgive. Oh, and people say you don't need to forgive them to their face. Just forgive them in your heart. No, you don't need to forgive anything. You do not need to forgive your abuser. You can just accept that it was part of your journey for your growth, and that's it. And that's okay. I am angry at like watching this, because this is insane that these two grown adults would do this to their own child. Disgusting. Look at me. Like I was talking about these other fucking people. Now it's my own fucking parents. Disgusting. You fucking disgusting little shits. You're disgusting for the way that you spoke to me, for the way that you treated me, for the way that you controlled me, for the way that you manipulated me, the way that you played with me like I was a little toy. Oh, you have no idea what's coming, bitch. I have to go do a reading now, so I need to go get Zen. But I cannot wait. I cannot wait to download these videos and put them up on YouTube and have you guys watch it, because I wish I could post them on here. There's too many. There's too many. They're too long. If it's going to trigger you, don't watch it. But I would, because you'll learn a lot, and you may be getting abused and you don't even know it. You may be getting manipulated and you don't even know it. Thank you, Soul Sister. Thank you for the shirt in Arizona. Yeah. Fuck blood. Fuck blood, family. Overrated. They can all croak and die. I give zero fucks. You know what? I wish they would die, because from the other realm, then they would be aware. And then they would come to me and apologize in spirit. But in the physical form, they're dead to me. Different Alex. Code switch. I just did a greeting and it was so good. It was so good. But I also was talking about, like, you know, not allowing ourselves to get stuck in trauma or in the past. So I haven't talked about my parents in a while, but I never, look at all the burps that are coming up, I've never publicly exposed them. And this is a part of my journey. You know, this is part of my journey. I accept, actually, I love them. I love them for what they've done, because they played their roles properly. We had a soul contract before we came to Earth, and we all agreed that they were going to traumatize me. We all agreed that they were going to hit me, they were going to berate me, they were going to do all these things. They were going to try to keep me small and dim my light, tell me to shut up. Why? Because I had a bigger mission. When I got my Akashic records read in April 11th of 2022, before, like, right at the time that I went mega viral, it was so crazy. Everything was just, like, insane. I asked my guides, why did I choose my parents? And they said, you need to be thankful to your parents, because they're the reason that you are who you are today. So I know I was angry or an hour ago. You stupid little shits. Well, damn. Like, that's how I'm just matching their energy. They want to talk to me like that. I'm just matching their energy. But in all reality, I don't need to forgive them, because they played their role. There's nothing to forgive. When I say there's nothing to forgive, there's nothing to forgive. I accept it. I'm okay with it. They did exactly what we all agreed to do. They did their job. We all agreed that we were going to come to Earth and play these roles. And they did it, and they're doing it very well. They're still in character, they're still in their character. Why am I going to get mad? What am I going to ask for forgiveness? Ask for them to apologize. I need you to apologize for the fact that you did exactly what we agreed to before we came to Earth. I need you to apologize to me for exactly what you agreed that you were going to do. Come on, guys. Yeah, so at the end of the day, even if they were dead, I don't need them to come and apologize to me in spirit either. They just would, because that's what spirit does. They would, because that's what spirit does. If you're still alive and you're feeling like there's still, some unresolved business, it'll get resolved in the spirit realm once they've passed. So, but I don't need their apology, because they just played their role and they're playing it very well. They forgot. Look, a hummingbird right on my window. 3 little birds sat on my window and they told me I don't need to worry. And a bird came during the reading. Corinne Bailey Ray. I don't need to worry. They're just fulfilling their role, and they're doing a damn good job. But I will still expose them, because they're unaware. It's like their frontal lobe never developed. That's what it's giving. They just haven't came into their consciousness. But I will not be cutting them slack. When people are like, well, they can't provide what they never got, then how am I doing it? How am I providing empathy and compassion and unconditional love? How am I, if I didn't get it? Don't make excuses for grown adults especially old people. Old people just love to use excuses. If you guys watch my videos that I am going to put up the compilation, it is excuse after excuse after excuse. Well, we're old. Well, we have issues. Well, we have financial issues. Well, we have health issues. Well, we're from Puerto Rico. Well, we're religious. Well. Not once like, oh my God, no accountability. No, oh. And then it's like, I would say one thing, they got another excuse, So once they're done with excuses, they're going to put me down. Well, actually, you're actually this, and you're actually, okay, so now we're going to the insults. It is so useless trying to talk to these people who are just robots. So don't let it get to you. I was just mad, like watching it back, I was mad for like my younger self. You know what I'm saying? For like, look, bird right in my window. For my past self, like, you guys really did this to me, and you guys really thought that I wasn't going to say shit, and you guys really just wanted to manipulate me. That's crazy. I just don't know how people do that to anybody, but even to their own child and to their oldest child, who literally like sacrificed their entire life for them, even though they think they're sacrificed their life for me. Oh, they literally, okay, we're not going to get into it, but anyway, I can't wait to just keep spilling the tea, because now I'm doing it for educational purposes, not so much as like I'm in pain and I'm hurt and I'm trying to figure it out. That was the last 5 years. Now we're on the other side. And I get to just talk about it in like an educational way and expose everything as just like, these are the facts and this is what happened. Because I think like a lot of people don't even realize that they're being manipulated. They're being gaslit. They're being abused. Some people don't know, because I didn't know, you know? And so that's why it's so important for me to share my story, because I remember in 2016 when I was dating a narcissist and I didn't understand why I kept getting in abusive relationships. That's when I found out what a narcissist was in 2016. And I was like, oh my God. Why? Because I saw it on a YouTube video. You may be dating a narcissist if, and then it was like this. And I'm like, yes. And that's when I realized I'm not crazy. I was just being abused. And I still, after that, didn't realize that I was being abused by my parents. Like, even finding out that I was dating a narcissist in 2016, it took me until 2020 to realize that my own mother was one, because she's so manipulative, and she's so good at twisting everything into her favor and putting the fear of God. Oh, that's trust. Putting the fear of God in you. Okay. She was insane, dude. Like, looking back on it, I'm like, this woman is insane. Can't believe my dad would defend her, but my dad has his own issues, because he also was like a fucking loose cannon. He'd be like fine one minute, the next minute he's like, fuck you then, fuck you, I hope everything gets fucked, I hope everything you want gets fucked, fuck you. Oh, okay. And they're like mad that I curse. Well, they're like, jódete, que te jodas. That's what they would say to me. Que te joda, no me importa. Vete de aquí. Vete, busca otra mamá. They think that all this shit is normal to say to their kids. So yeah, I'm going to keep sharing my story, and I can't wait for it. So I just got out of the shower, in case you couldn't tell. Still being very emotional. But I just want to, I don't know, like, okay, so obviously I was raised very strict, religious, Christian household, Hispanic, and I wasn't allowed to talk about anything. I wasn't allowed to talk to my friends about anything. Everything had to be private. But as you can see, I'm not that type of person. I overshare. I like to overshare. And I don't care how many people tell me that I shouldn't share, because I'm tired of keeping everything bottled up, and I feel like I should be able to share. And I want to talk about stuff. But I feel like because I was raised to believe that you shouldn't talk about things, if I start talking about private stuff, family stuff, that my parents are going to want to disown me, because it's private stuff and that's stuff that shouldn't be talked about. But we should talk about it. So I was talking to my mom earlier, and you guys want to know what she said to me? We were talking about my boyfriend and how everything's going great, and she's like, oh, I'm so excited, I'm so happy for you. And she was like, you know, I just think that, like, if you guys were to ever break up and it wasn't because you broke up with him and he broke up with you, that it would be your fault. And I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah, because, you know, then there would be a problem with you. Because, like, you know, as if he's just perfect. Because apparently, you know, since no other relationship has ever worked out with me before, then it would just be my fault. Because he's clearly God's gift to the earth. No, it's just like, she said it like jokingly, but it was like an insult. And I'm like, why? What? And I told my boyfriend, he's like, oh my God, that is so not true. Like, I wouldn't, first of all, I don't ever want to break up with you. And if I did, like, I'm not perfect. It wouldn't be because of your fault. And I'm like, yeah, that's my mother. Today's the day, guys. Today's the day I officially deleted my parents off Facebook. Yes, I still use Facebook because I'm old. And of course, my parents use Facebook because they're older. But I just finally had to delete them off of it because I'm sick and tired of them telling me what I should and should not post on my Facebook. I am going to be 34 next month. I do not need you telling me you shouldn't post about that. You shouldn't post about this. I tagged my friend in something about weed, and my mom texted me, "Are you smoking weed?" I started laughing. I said, "What? And if I was, I can if I want to." And she started crying, and she was like, "I trusted you. We have lost so many people to this." Ma'am, you have not lost a single soul to weed. You've lost them to opioids. Weed is not a gateway drug. Also, I never said I was smoking it because I have asthma, but I do be eating it. And I have every right to because I'm an adult. I'm also allowed to post whatever the fuck I want on my social media because, again, I'm a fucking adult. I'm sick and tired of still being treated like a teenager. So I deleted them because I have every right to do that. So I haven't really posted much about this on my page. Few people know that I have said I have a narcissistic mother. But as I'm sure a lot of you know, with narcissistic parents, they don't like you talking about stuff because that is private information. Therefore, I feel guilty talking about my trauma because that is private. But I think that we should talk about it so that we can break the cycle. Because it's not okay to keep things just under the rug when it involves me. I should be able to talk about my triggers or what you fucking did that made me traumatized to not want to have kids. And it's nothing like bad. It's nothing like physical. It's just emotional, manipulative. My mom was a narcissist. My dad was an empath. And it was just like, that's why I got into bad relationships, because I got used to the emotional trauma. I'm sorry. I know you did the best that you could, but you could have done better had you gone to therapy. One of the very big reasons why I do not want to have kids is because I think that nobody should have a child until they have figured out their own shit. If you have trauma, go to therapy or figure it out, but do not have a child when you are not ready to break the cycle. My parents had their trauma. My grandparents weren't really around in either of their lives. So when they got together, they got married at 21, pregnant with me at 23, pregnant with my sister by 25. And not one of them had gone to therapy to deal with their trauma. They had absent parents. They had my sister and I to fulfill the emotional void of love that they did not get from their parents. So they were obsessed with us, overprotective and overbearing. And it took so much emotional support from us that neither of us can deal with having to deal with somebody else's emotions, because it is way too draining. If you're a person who requires a lot of emotional support, I just cannot have you in my life. It takes way too much of my energy. And I've already been doing this my entire life. And that's why I don't want kids. You know, sometimes I wonder, like, is my mom really a narcissist? Am I being irrational? Am I being disrespectful? But then my heart rate goes up. I scream at the top of my lungs. I start crying from how angry she makes me because of the gaslighting and the manipulation that she does. And the only other person that triggered me like this were my narcissistic ex-boyfriends. Interesting. No one in my life triggers me like this. My sister doesn't trigger me. My boyfriend doesn't trigger me. I don't have people in my life that trigger me this way. So I do not care if you're my own mother and you pushed me out of your birth canal. That does not give you a right to trigger me the way that you do. And on top of that, I don't need my father calling me and yelling at me, telling me I'm disrespectful, and that maybe if he had beat me earlier in life a little harder, then I wouldn't have turned out this way. Oh, okay, so instead of taking responsibility for your actions, you're only taking responsibility for not beating me earlier enough in life to set me straight. Instead of saying, maybe I should have gone to therapy, maybe we did do something wrong. No, you just wish you had beat me more in life. Got it. So the short answer is yes. Today we had a huge blowout and I told her I want nothing to do with her. My dog is dying and they are taking care of him in Florida because I didn't want to bring him with me to California when he's like gonna die soon. And also my parents have been taking care of him since I moved out because I became allergic to dogs 4 years after I got him, so I physically could not have him with me, so it really fucking sucked because I was still financially responsible for him. So the vet said that we should put him down in January, but my parents refused, so I obliged. And now he's just slowly crippling away, and they like to throw it in my face that they're doing so much for him, even though I was more than willing to put them out of their misery and my dog. Of course, I don't want to put him down, but if his quality of life is not good and he's just in pain, like, why would I want to do that to him? But whatever. So yesterday my mom tells me that she wants to bury him in the backyard when he dies, and I said I think that's illegal, and then she just started fighting with me about some shit. So anyway, she tells me to cancel like his insurance plan and everything, right, because they're not going to take him to the vet anymore. So I did, and then today she tells me that they want him cremated, and I'm like, you already told me to cancel everything. So no, we have to make up part 2. So after they say that they wanted him cremated, after they first told me they didn't want him cremated, and I canceled the insurance and everything, turned into a fight because I was like, you already told me to cancel everything, so no, you can just bury him in the backyard. And they're like, well, we're not going to deal with a fine because it's illegal. And I said, I know it's illegal. I was the one that told you. And you said, well, maybe just don't have such a big fucking mouth and tell people. So then that turned into a fight. That was the fight that I was having yesterday because she's like, you just have such a big mouth. You post everything on Facebook. And then she told me to cancel the insurance, and I said, I have to pay my way out of it. And she said, okay, so don't be so cheap. So she insulted me twice in the span of about 5 minutes. Literally said, you are so fucking annoying. I hate talking to you. You are a psycho. And then that's what started the whole fight. And all she focuses on is that I was being disrespectful because I called her a psycho and annoying. She refuses to acknowledge the fact that she triggered me to react that way. So anyways, so we're talking about the whole having him cremated thing, and I'm fighting with them because I was like, the insurance might have been able to cover that. She's like, well, I didn't know. That's not my problem. Figure it out. And it's not about the money. It's about her attitude. The lack of consideration for me through all of this. Like, she apologized and was like, well, I'm sorry. I didn't know that the insurance could have possibly covered that, which, by the way, I found out that it didn't cover it. But the point is that she had no consideration for me. And I can't even mourn the loss of my dog because I'm too busy fighting with her because of her fucking attitude. But in her eyes, I am crazy. I am wrong. I'm the one who started the fight. I didn't start the fight. You triggered me. Insulted me in the span of 5 minutes because there's not a conversation that goes by that you cannot put me down. And I tell her this, and she says, you're a liar. That is not true. You love fighting. You're always fighting with me. Yes, I am fighting with you because you drive me fucking insane. I cannot stand talking to you. You make me so angry, and I don't want to be angry anymore. I don't want to fight, and you are the only person that makes me feel this way. So I'm gonna have to just cut you off. So I said, I want nothing to do with you after Oliver dies. I deleted her off Facebook. I left the group chat. She likes to use God for everything, so she was like, I can't wait until Judgment Day so God can tell you how wrong you are. And I said, I'm gonna have to make another part. So after my mother tells me that she can't wait until Judgment Day so God can tell me how wrong I am and how right she is, I said I can't wait for that day either so that he can tell you how wrong you are and how much damage you've done to your daughters with your narcissism and your behavior because you still refuse to accept it. Of course, no responsibility was taken. She just says she's so sorry that she was just such a horrible mother. Oh, you know what she used to tell us when we were little? When we would fight with her or get upset with her, she would be like, okay, if you don't like me, you can go find another mom. She used to be like, just go find another mom. I don't care. Yeah, so I always felt like her love was conditional because it was all or nothing with her. As long as I am doing what she wants, then I am loved and everything is great. The minute I'm doing something she does not like or approve of, cut off. Silent treatment, yelling, screaming, slamming things. So I would have to apologize for stuff that wasn't my fault so that we could stop walking on eggshells. There are so many stories that I could tell about this, but like, I think the worst story that like just really, really upsets me that I have of her that I can't get over is the fact that one time I left my Facebook account logged in at her house and she went in and blocked my entire family because she was embarrassed about who I was dating. Granted, it was embarrassing that I was dating this guy, yes. He was technically still married, but separated. But she was embarrassed of it, so she went through and deleted my entire family. And I had no idea. And I was like, why don't I have any of the family on Facebook? What the fuck? And she didn't tell me till a while later when she came to me crying because she felt so bad that she went on my Facebook and violated my trust and deleted my entire family. My mom always thought that I made the worst decisions. I literally have never done anything wrong in my life. It was the worst thing that I ever did. And she always told me like she just needed to protect me because I just couldn't make good decisions. Do I do drugs? Did I become a teen mom? Am I doing things that are illegal? I don't even drink. I literally don't do anything wrong. But in her eyes, well, of course, after we had this fight today and I said, I want nothing to do with you, You're not a good person. I don't care what you think in your delusional head. You're not. Because there's no reason that I should still be having the same fucking fight with you 34 years later. You know what that is? The definition of insanity. Doing the same thing and expecting a different result. I'm done. I'm not going to keep having the same argument with you every fucking time we talk. Yeah, she has moments where she seems okay. She's like loving and great. But it always comes back to this. Because narcissists never change. I literally told her today, you're a narcissist. And you're never going to change. So I left the group chat. I texted her to let her know that I talked to the vet about the cremation and have nothing to worry about. And then she texts back, for my sanity, I'm going to leave this text message in group chat. So if you want to talk to me, you can call me. Because again, she wants to control how I communicate with her. Because she likes to control every fucking thing that happens. There is nothing that she cannot control. If she's not controlling you, she does not want you in her life. Okay, so like, I still obviously feel really bad like saying this out loud, but the crazy thing is it's like it doesn't register how bad it was until you say it out loud. So my mom liked to always control the narrative, so she would tell me, this does not leave this house. You do not talk to other people about what goes on in this house. That is private. But I wanted to talk about it with like my best friend because I needed an outlet. So then I would tell my best friend about it and she's like, dude, your mom's crazy. Like, you have got to separate yourself from her. That is not normal. The relationship you have with your mom is not normal. She's way too controlling. She's crazy. And my mom would get mad. Like, you do not need to talk to your friends about this. You don't need to talk to this person about this. Don't keep my name out of your mouth. I wouldn't have anything to say. Oh, even today, she was like, go talk bad about me like you always do. And I said, I'm not talking bad about you. I'm saying the truth. If you don't like what's being said, then you should have not done it. So I'm sick of fucking protecting her feelings and her image. She used to be like, if I'm so horrible, why do all your friends love me? I said, because they don't fucking know you. You put on this facade like you're great, but you're not. So yeah, I have like a ton of stories that to me seemed normal because I grew up with, you know, Puerto Rican parents. So, you know, the fact that if I ever tried to defend myself or express my feelings because, you know, my mom didn't know how to communicate, so she would just yell at me. So then I would yell back because I'm matching her energy. She would just backhand me right across the mouth, pop my mouth, which, you know, is normal to older people and the Hispanic community. And I don't remember what I did so bad that my dad had to hit me and I had welts, like handprints on my thighs. I don't remember I think they might have hit me with a belt. I don't really remember, but that was all normal back then. But I never did anything that bad to deserve getting hit. And so my dad's reaction today was like, maybe I should have hit you earlier and harder in life, and then you would, you know, be my little minion and soldier, apparently. So yeah, I kind of just like don't really give a fuck anymore. I feel like with 2020, I just really like leveled up, and I'm kind of more awakened, and I was very blinded before. I was easily manipulated, and just don't really care anymore. I don't care to have a relationship with people who drain my energy, who constantly make me feel like shit. I told her all my life, you constantly make me feel bad about myself. You make me feel like I don't know how to make the right decisions. You constantly just put me down, even though of course she builds you up, but then she brings you down because that's what narcissists do. And the reason I know she's a narcissist is because I never would have been with narcissists if I didn't have a narcissistic parent. You don't really ever get with a narcissist unless you have a cycle of having a narcissist in your life already. So that's how I know. So yeah, I'm 34 years old and I'm just figuring everything out now. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed my rant of me exposing my fucking childhood trauma. Yeah, I don't know. This is something that like I never thought I would actually talk about out loud because it's not something you say out loud. Because, you know, I have such a big fucking mouth. I can't keep anything to myself. You know, a sign of trauma is oversharing because you feel like you have to over-explain yourself to everyone. But I like sharing. I like being an open book. I am not embarrassed about who I am. And I am tired of feeling like I should be embarrassed about who I am because you're embarrassed about who I am. I don't fucking care. I'm not doing anything that's going to get me arrested or not be able to get a job again. I don't care. So think whatever the fuck you want. Like, I don't care. But yeah, so I don't know if you guys like enjoyed this, but I could definitely tell you guys more stories if you want to know. So let's hope this doesn't get back to her, but if it does, oh well. Okay, yes, although I don't I know in my heart that like she's not doing this on purpose. She doesn't realize that she is doing like narcissistic bullshit, you know what I mean? But yes, it is all about control, because I can't remember any friends that she has that is not about control. She actually doesn't really have any friends, and if she does have people in her life, it's people that she can control. But what I wanted to say was, how insensitive is it that I can't even mourn the loss of my dog, who's about to be 15, who's my baby? I can't even mourn the loss of him because this is the shit she's pulling. I also can't even enjoy the fact that I have a new job, because yesterday was my first day, she made me cry, and today was my second day, she made me cry before work, because there's not a special event that a narcissist cannot ruin. Instead of just putting her bullshit aside, no, let's see how we can ruin her day. But of course, I'm the crazy one. I'm the dramatic one. When she says she's happy for me, I can feel it that she's not happy for me. If she's not the direct cause of my happiness, yeah, pretty much our entire lives, my sister and I said we think she's bipolar, because she just would go from one extreme to the next. But she would literally like make me cry and drive me crazy, and then she would go, I don't know why you care so much about my opinion. You're an adult. You can do whatever you want. Don't talk to me again. Don't worry about me. Why do you care so much? I don't know, maybe because you're my fucking mother and you're full of shit, because when I do whatever I want, I get told that I'm doing things wrong, that I shouldn't be doing, that I'm not doing things the right way, that I should grow up and be mature. So which one is it? Do you want me to care about your opinion or not? She is the ultimate gaslighter. She's always been into natural remedies. So I sent her the video about the guy who ate the dandelion root and how it's good for your heart. And she was like, you need to be careful with that stuff. I don't trust it. Bitch, you literally have a natural remedy book in your house, and now all of a sudden you don't believe in it? You're literally crazy. Anyways, so my sister and my friend have been telling me to read this book, Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents: How to Heal from Distant, Rejecting, or Self-Involved Parents. It's my sister's book. She already read it, and she's been telling me forever to read it, and now my friend keeps telling me to read it too, so I'm gonna start reading it, because I guess, I don't know, it'll help, I guess, but I'm going to heal myself for my own sanity. What they decide to do or not do is their own fucking problem. You know what they love to say? You know, the commandment says, honor thy father and mother, but they love to leave out the part where it says, but parents, do not bring your children to anger. So I don't know if that was something that someone made up for their own benefit, but God, if that was really a commandment, and you're going to condemn me for not still having them in my life, I would rather take the consequences than deal with this emotional and psychological bullshit, because it's just not worth it. Alright guys, I'm back with an update about my family. I was pretty upset yesterday before I went into work. I will let you guys know the conversation I had with my dad, but today's actually my mom's birthday, and I have not spoken to her. I sent her a text message at midnight last night, and I said, happy birthday, hope you have a great day, God bless you. And then she hadn't replied, so my sister's like, why are you ignoring her? And then she's like, I didn't get her text message, and she sent a screenshot where she didn't get my text message. So my sister showed her what I sent her, and then she said, thank you so much, like, have a God bless you too, or something. But the most funniest part and ironic part is that I sent her a birthday card on Monday before all this shit went down, and this is what the birthday card said. Mom, thought you'd appreciate a birthday card from a kid who's always listened, never talked back, and never disobeyed. And then the inside says, but I have no idea who that is. So I thought that was pretty fucking ironic, but I guess she hasn't gotten it yet. She hasn't said anything, so I don't know what she's gonna say when she gets it. Okay, so on to what happened with my dad. So my dad starts texting me yesterday morning before work, literally the minute I opened my eyes. The best part about being on the West Coast, they've been up 3 hours before me, so I wake up to fucking drama. So my dad was like, what do you want to do about Oliver? He hasn't pooped in like 2 days. Do you want me to take him to the vet? Sir, no. No, you can't take him to the vet unless you're going to pay out of pocket, because you told me to cancel his insurance. Well, my mom told me to cancel his insurance. So I tell him, no, you cannot take him. You're going to have to pay it out of pocket if you go. And I know you're not going to pay it, and I'm not going to pay it because I did what was told of me. And since my mom wanted to say, well, maybe don't have such a big mouth about the like digging him in the backyard thing, I said, maybe mom shouldn't have such a big mouth and told me to cancel the insurance if you still wanted to take him to the vet. So of course that started a fight. He was like, well, first of all, you shouldn't have made such a rushed decision. You're an adult, so you should have made that decision on your own and not just canceled it right away. Okay, again, this gets put on me. I did what you guys wanted me to, but it got put on me. I'm the one at fault. Okay, no responsibility, no accountability. So of course I get upset because you fucking told me to do something, so I did it, and now I'm still at fault. I'm still at fault. Nothing's ever their fault. So he's like, well, Oliver's gonna die if like he doesn't get treated. Yes, he's been dying. We know this. You have got to let it go. I love my dog, but he is sick. He is dying. He is old. He's about to turn 15. He has a lot of issues. Stop trying to keep him alive longer. And stop using my money to fucking pay for everything, because you don't pay for anything. I have to. So anyways, he's like, your mom's birthday's tomorrow. You need to call her to apologize. He's like, both of you are making this into way a bigger deal than it needs to be. I said, I will not be apologizing to her. Oh, and guess what he brought out again? The Bible says, honor father and mother, not honor children. And I said, the Bible also says, do not bring your kids to anger. But you sure do love to leave that part out, don't ya? Also, sir, you don't follow the Bible. You don't follow anything. You don't go to church. So I don't know why you're all of a sudden acting like you follow the Bible. So he starts telling me that I need to apologize to my mother. And I said, I will not be apologizing to my mother because not once has she ever apologized to me. Let me think. Maybe the only time that she apologized to me was when she went on my Facebook and blocked my entire family because she was embarrassed about who I was dating. Didn't tell me 4 months. Then came to me crying, playing the victim because she felt bad about what she had done. That might be the only time she's apologized to me. Genuinely apologized, because the other times it's like, I'm so sorry, but it's like not real. So I said I will not be apologizing to her. I don't give a fuck that it's her birthday. Because I did nothing wrong. And you guys don't want to fucking see what you have done. He was like, you guys need to be understanding about what we're going through. Your uncle is passing away and she's stressed about that. We're stressed about Oliver. This is her first birthday without you guys. We have a lot of issues financially. You guys really need to be understanding about all of that. Did you guys hear my name mentioned in that at all? Did you guys hear my feelings being validated at all? Did you guys hear me being acknowledged in the whole fucking situation at all? So I said, I don't have to be understanding about anything because both of you refuse to be understanding about the shit that you have done. Your issues are not my problem, and I'm not going to keep taking them on. I'm not going to keep being invalidated. I'm not going to keep letting you shift my reality because it doesn't line up with your reality. And then he told me that I'm getting real fucking slick, cursing at them, which I've always cursed, which is why I used to get hit. But, oh, you've gotten real fucking slick trying to curse at us and disrespect us, and this is going to be a real big problem if you keep doing this. What will the problem be? That you're not going to talk to me anymore? That's literally the entire point. And again, he said, and you're lucky you weren't standing in front of me yesterday when you started yelling at me because I would have knocked your teeth out. Because like I said, I should have started hitting you harder and earlier in your life and then you would have respected more. Okay, so you're saying you wish you would have physically abused me on top of the psychological and emotional abuse. Oh, okay. That's excellent parenting. I said that wouldn't have changed anything. You just should have gone to therapy. So then we went back to talking about my dog, and I said, I appreciate everything you guys have done for Oliver, but I have offered for the last year that we can put him down, and you guys would call me a murderer. But then you would call me and complain and throw in my face everything that you're doing for him. So what do you want from me? Because you can't do both. You want to keep him alive, even though he is dying. I obviously don't want to fucking put my dog down. But the fact that I would rather put my dog down than listen to you fucking bitch every fucking chance you get about what you're doing, I'm over it. I said, I appreciate everything that you have done, but you don't do something for someone you love and then constantly throw it in their face. Our entire fucking life, everything has been thrown in our face. Everything. In our entire life, we were called ungrateful, disrespectful, selfish, unappreciative. I don't know if there's any Puerto Ricans out there, but my parents would say, oh, que odiosa, which means hateful. I don't know who raised you to be that way. You did. You raised me to be this way. How is my mom going to get mad at me when I was growing up because I would joke around with people and like play hit them with guys? I would, want to wrestle. I would do fun stuff like that. And then when I would get mad, a reaction would be to hit people. How is she going to get mad at me for doing that? When she did the same thing to me. So then she would get mad at me and she'd be like, you don't lay your hands on people, and then hit me. It's literally common sense. Common fucking sense. You do not tell a child not to do something while you're doing it to them. She literally would say, who do you think you are? Hit me, and say, you don't hit people. You don't put your hands on people, and then hit me as she's doing it. And then I'd be like, what the fuck? And it's like, well, I'm your mom. That's how I'm disciplining you. Okay, so if somebody does something disrespectful to me, I'm going to hit them because that's what I learned from you. It's fucking logical sense. I don't understand how this was not logic to them. How they think that they could do things and we wouldn't react. So I said, I'm sorry that you don't like the way I speak to you, but there is a lot that I am angry with both of you about my childhood and everything that happened. And just because I'm gonna be 34 and I'm just now realizing everything doesn't mean that I just have to push it aside because I'm an adult, so get over it. Because you're an adult and you act like a fucking child. So I don't have to get over it. I don't have to put my feelings aside for your fucking feelings because this is what I've been doing my entire fucking life. My entire fucking life, I have put my feelings aside, my wants aside, my needs aside to make you happy. I'm almost halfway to 40 and I'm still doing things to please you? You got me fucked up. You have got me fucked up because I get one life. One life and half of it, I have wasted it pleasing your fucking needs and wants. And both of you got to live your fucking lives. Both of you got to go do whatever you wanted. You got married. You explored life. You figured out your belief system. You did whatever the fuck you wanted. But I'm not allowed to do that because then I'm wrong because I'm not doing what you want. You can go fuck yourself. So anyways, my dad's like, after everything we've done for you, we deserve your love and respect. No. Let me tell you something, sir. Despite your fucking belief, respect is earned. It is not just given. And you do not respect my needs or wants. You don't respect my feelings and you don't respect my emotions. And I said, as a person with feelings, I am allowed to feel however the fuck I feel. And I am allowed to tell you that I don't like your parenting style because I am the child that experienced it. You don't get to tell me that you did a good job, you did things right, when I'm the one that is suffering the consequences for your actions. And then he wants to say, well, you don't know what it's like because you don't have kids. You're absolutely right, sir, because I'm fucking smart. Because I know better than to have a fucking kid without working through my shit. Because I'm not gonna bring a kid into the world to repeat the same cycle that's been repeating for years in the past. I am breaking the cycle. So no, I don't want kids. And you're the reason why. So apparently when I was in Florida, my mom told me that my dad had been like, do you think I was a bad dad? And I don't know what her response was, but I just fucking let it out in this message when I was talking to him yesterday. I said, just because you were there financially up to a certain point in our life does not mean you were a good dad. Doesn't mean you were a good parent, because you would ask us, hey, how was your day? And I'd go, oh, it was good. And then I'd start telling him, and then he'd just zone out and stop listening. Huh? What? Why do you ask questions that you don't fucking care the answer to? So eventually we just stopped telling. Fine. My day was fine. That's it. Because why? Why waste my breath on you? You don't care. He used to defend me when I was younger against my mom, and he would tell her, you're going to ruin your relationship with her. You need to back off. But my mom, even though he's my dad, he made half of me. My mom would say, do not get involved in this. This has nothing to do with you. And then they would fight. So he stopped defending me against her because what was the point? No one could speak against my mother because then all hell broke loose. So I said, so you think that all of a sudden I'm being disrespectful? Maybe it's because all of a sudden you want to act like you give a fuck about what's going on in my life. Maybe it's because all of a sudden you want to act like a parent? You want to step in and parent me at 34 years old? You've lost your mind, sir. It's too late now. You had your chance. The fact that my dad didn't buy a single gift for me for Christmas or holidays or birthdays or anything because he just provided the money and my mom did all the shopping. You know what he got me? He got me one gift that I can remember, because I don't know, maybe when we were babies he did something, but as far back as my memory goes, he bought me a mug with an A on it, and he was so excited to give it to me at my 32nd birthday. That's how long it took him to actually buy me something for my birthday, because he just provided the money and then my mom did the shopping. And then I would get him things for Father's Day, birthday, holiday, whatever, excited to give him something, and he would just go, oh, yeah, I'm not gonna use that. No. Nothing was ever good enough. And FYI, just because you don't like the delivery, because you don't like the way I speak, because it hurts your little Pisces feelings, it's really not my problem. Not my problem, sir. Because my feelings were not taken into consideration for the last 34 years. So I'm done. I'm done walking on eggshells around either of my fucking parents. And I said, you think I'm being disrespectful to you lately? Well, maybe it's because besides the fact that all of a sudden now you want to act like a parent, anytime I say anything that bothers you, anything, it doesn't even have to be anything important. It could literally be about anything. Flip up a switch. You know what? Go screw yourself then. No. Go ahead. Suffer the consequences. I'm telling you this advice as a parent because I know better. Let me tell you something about parents who say they know better, but you see with your own fucking eyes that they don't know better because the life that they have is not the life that you want. Just because a couple is married, my parents have been married since 1985, doesn't mean their relationship is healthy. So I really don't care how much my parents want to say that they know better. that they're wiser than me. Because when I look at their life, I'm not saying it's bad. It's not bad. It's mediocre. Their marriage is mediocre. They pride themselves on never have cheated and happily married since 1985. But I don't see happiness in them. I don't see it. They are codependent. They are two toxic people who became codependent on each other. They got married when they were 21 years old. Both had absent parents. My mom is a narcissist. My dad was the codependent. Then my mom became dependent on my dad because he didn't want her to work because he wanted her to be a stay-at-home mom. So then she became dependent on him financially. And he thought that just being a provider was a good enough role in the family, not actually spending quality time with the family. So my mom had full control over my sister and I. So it was a good balance of like my mom being overbearing and my dad being absent. So this comment, I appreciate it. I appreciate this comment because all my life I was told, you do not talk about what happens in this house. This is private. What goes on in our family is private. Does not leave these walls. Why? Why not? Why can't I talk about it? Are you embarrassed? Are you ashamed? Is it because you know that you're in the wrong, but you don't want anybody else to know and to inform me that you're in the wrong? That's why I'm talking about this. I'm so sorry. If my parents find this and they are ashamed and embarrassed about what I have to say, I hope that you are. I hope that you are embarrassed. Because not once did you want to actually fucking listen to my feelings. Not once did you want to take accountability. Not once did you really sit down and hear me. You just wanted to shut me up, tell me to be respectful, and not talk back. And me talking about this, finally letting it out, is what I need to do to help others see that they may be going through the same thing, and it is not okay. And I know that if this ever comes to light with my parents, they're going to say, wow, first of all, they're going to put me down and say how unappreciative and ungrateful, blah, 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 bullshit I am. Okay. And then be like, oh, but you don't want to mention any of the good stuff, right? Listen, I'm not saying that my childhood was all bad. Of course there was good stuff. You look at all the videotapes, the pictures, it seems good. When you step back and you look at it, there was a lot of toxicity, a lot of emotional abuse, a lot of psychological abuse that seemed normal, that I didn't know was abuse back then. But because they don't see it as anything wrong, they're never going to see it. They're going to think that I'm just a horrible child that unappreciates them and hates them. And although, yes, there were good times, the bad times were never acknowledged. And now I am acknowledging them. It's taken me this long to acknowledge them. You should be grateful that it took me this long. You should be grateful that you were able to manipulate me for this long. The good doesn't outweigh the bad here. When will the daily family drama end? Who knows? Who's ready for today's dad drama update? So my dad is sending me videos and pictures of my dog who all of a sudden decided to become the Hulk and get life in him again. All of a sudden he's like walking, he's acting fine, like nothing was ever wrong. But he's obviously sick. The vet said we should have put him down in January, so he is dying. He has a lot of issues. But some days he's good, some days he's bad. Anyway, so my dad sends me this stuff and I said, yeah, maybe mom shouldn't have told me to cancel his insurance because now he can't go back to the vet. And he was like, well, is it hard to get his insurance back? And I said, yeah, I'm not going to get it because you have to pay it for the entire year, even if he dies. So I already had to pay my way out of it, what I still had left for the year. And he was like, okay, well, what about his insulin? Because we only have like for a few days left. And I said, oh, it's $52. And he was like, oh, good, the price doesn't change. And I was like, oh, wait, no, maybe you're right. It might change. And he said, Mija, for him, I would die. I said, oh my God, don't be so dramatic. Because I knew what was coming next. Okay, so you'll be paying for the insulin? Nope, you are. We have a little bit left for the next few days, but you'll be paying for it. And I said, no, I will not. I will be paying what I would have paid if I still had the insurance, which is $52. If it goes over $52, I will not be paying for it. And he said, yes, you are. And I said, no, I'm not. I will not be paying for mom's mistake. What she did was wrong and it was not okay and you need to stop defending her actions. So guess what came next? The guilt trip and throwing everything in my face. Mija, I have spent $150 a month on diapers for him and I'm making him food and we're taking care of him 24/7 and you're gonna leave me with this too? And I said, oh, here we are throwing it in my face again. Okay, here we go. This is gonna get good. I said, I have been offering for a year now to put him down so that you guys wouldn't have to go through this anymore. But you guys didn't want to do it. You guys have decided everything for him for the last year. So I'm not going to feel bad about the decisions that you guys have made. He is my dog and I am paying for everything for him. Yes, you guys are taking care of him, but you've taken care of him for the last year because you've wanted to. So stop throwing that in my face because it's not going to work. Like I said, I will pay the $52 and nothing more. It is my money and my dog. You've chosen to keep taking care of him since January, since the vet told us to put him down. That is on you. I will not feel bad for your decisions. I appreciate it, but that was your choice. And back to his original strategy of throwing things in my face. Here we go, round 2. Mija, I helped you get unemployment when you weren't even counting on that money. Maybe it was a blessing so that you could help paying for Oliver now. He said, you know, sometimes you sound real materialistic and unappreciative. So the guilt trip and throwing it in my face wasn't enough, so now he's got to put me down. Putting him down would have been the easy way out. Everything I said was the truth, but okay, I'm going to sleep. Good night. I said, thank you for your help with unemployment, but one thing has nothing to do with the other. Again, stop trying to defend mom's actions. What she did was wrong, and I will not feel bad for standing my ground. So please respect my wishes. Thank you. I'm not trying to throw it in your face. I'm just trying to change your perspective. Look at it as a blessing. Sometimes you see things the way that they're not, and you refuse to look at them in a different way. And I said, no, I'm seeing them very clear. I'm not telling you this to make you feel bad, but sometimes you need to talk less and think more about how people are talking to you. You're always so defensive. And I said, I have reason to be. And that was that. Because again, I don't have rose-colored glasses on anymore. I can see through all your fucking bullshit. Sorry, I'm laying down, but I forgot to update you guys on my mom's drama. So I told you guys I sent my mom a birthday card on Monday before all this shit went down, remember? Well, she ended up getting it today. And this morning she had like double texted me, like she resent the same text from last night saying thank you for my happy birthday text, but I obviously ignored it. So then she includes me and my sister in a group chat after I excused myself from the first group chat, and she also excused herself. She also excused herself when I texted her about the cremation. So she includes me and my sister in a group chat, sends me a picture of the birthday card. She's like, oh my god, thank you so much. I just got your card today. It was so cute, blah, blah, as if nothing had happened. And I just hit like. And then she just starts sending us messages and pictures of Oliver and everything like nothing had happened. So I'm sure that when my dad started messaging me, he thought that everything would be hunky-dory. And I said, no, sir. Let me remind you that what she did is still not okay. What both of you did is still not okay. And this changes nothing.
The days and hours leading up to you leaving are marked by conflict and arguments.
Yeah, I know all about this. Let me tell you about how my mom fought with my sister and I for the entire month before we moved across the country. The minute that she found out that we were actually going through with it, she did everything to try to stop us while telling us how happy she was for us that we were doing this. But then would try to pin us against each other. I don't know why you're moving in with your sister. You know you're not going to be able to handle it. You really want to live with her? Good luck. When that didn't work, they tried to just tell us how it wouldn't work out in California, how we weren't used to earthquakes, how it's so much more expensive than Florida. Then when my sister and I would have little disagreements about the move, my mom would look at my dad and say, they better call you when they have issues because I'm not dealing with them. We're not going to call either of you. We'll be fine. We're adults. This was during COVID, so obviously they didn't want us to leave. So I tried to use that as an excuse. I tried to use the excuse that we were leaving before Father's Day. How could you leave right before Father's Day? Fought the entire week up until my birthday. Acted like she was happy for us the entire time, but fought us every single day. This is something I want to say about abusive relationships with parents or narcissistic parents, toxic family members. Just because they have your blood or you are intertwined because of family does not make it okay for them to abuse you, okay? Because let's just say that it was a significant other that was treating you this way. I can assure you 100% they would want you to leave that relationship. Oh, they would badmouth this person. They would say how horrible this person is to you. I can't believe this person makes you cry. I can't believe this person degrades you, mistreat you, puts you down. What is wrong? You gotta leave. You gotta leave. They're abusive. But I'm supposed to stay in contact with you just because you're a family member? How does that make it okay? How is it okay to hate your child because you're disciplining them while at the same time telling your child not to lay their hands on other people? How is it okay to tell your child that you wish you would have hit them earlier on in life and hit them harder so that they would respect you more? So I just got home from work. It was pretty slow, but I still made good money, so it's okay. So I wanted to update you guys. So I told you guys how my mom included my sister and I in another group chat after I had already left the first one. So that first day that she included us, she was just sending like stuff about my dog or whatever, so that was pretty much it. And that she like got my birthday card, so I just hit like on it. But then last night, she was like, love you guys, have a great night. And then sent like a little picture that was like, you never know what's gonna happen tomorrow. Like, don't stay mad. Bullshit. So I left the group chat. I was like, no, we ain't playing this game. We are not playing this game. Because you had so much time to right your wrongs. You still refuse to acknowledge them. So right now, I was like, oh, let me call my grandma. I want to see what she's up to. So I was talking to her, and at the end of the conversation, she was like, oh, here, and like passes the phone to my mom, because my mom had just gone there. And she had it on speaker, so she was like, hello? And I was like, all right, gotta go, bye, have a good day, to my grandma. Like, no, we aren't playing this game, absolutely not. It's not gonna happen. All right, so as you guys know, I filled you in that last night I was talking to my grandma and my mom walked in and she tried to hand her the phone and I hung up because I didn't want to talk to her. And I knew that wasn't the end of the drama. Then I get a text from my dad. I'm just gonna go ahead and show you guys the text messages. Usually I go ahead and tell the story as it happened, but there was just too much, so I'm gonna put them up, just pause it and read. Yeah, so that was fun. So as you can see, no accountability was taken. Still played the victim the entire time. Ignored everything that I pointed out. But my mom called my sister today confused, like still didn't understand. And my sister just laid it all out for her too. And was like, Alex is 100% right and I support her decision. You reap what you sow. Thank you, I really appreciate this comment. And I do want to make a comment about the fact that I decided to just put everything on public, and if this ever finds their way back to them, they're not going to be happy because as you guys know, parents like this say this stays in between these four walls. You don't talk to people about this because it makes me look bad. You know, your actions wouldn't make you look bad if you wouldn't have done them. And the way that I see it, I still feel guilty about this because I'm like, oh man, like what happens down the line if they find out? But it's also like, my boundaries were not respected for 34 years. So why do I still have to respect yours? I don't have to. And I know everyone's like, or not everyone, but I'm sure people are like, oh my God, you're just like airing your dirty laundry out there. And it's like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck because you know why? This is their doing, not mine. I was just a product of the environment and I'm working through it. And I think it's really good to talk about so other people know that you're not the only one who's going through it. You're not the only one. We're all going through it. So pertaining to my last couple videos, I did want to mention some comments that I've seen recently that really stuck with me. One I saw on somebody else's page where somebody said, parents need to remember that one day they will be answering to their children, which is very true because we all eventually grow up and we realize that our parents are just people and they don't know it all, and we have to hold them accountable for their action. We can't keep excusing their behavior just because they're our parents, because that's what keeps the toxic cycle going. Another comment was one that somebody actually left me, and they said that now is my time to throw the tantrum because I didn't get to do that when I was little because I was always protecting their feelings and worried about how everything was affecting them. And they threw the tantrums. My mom would punish us by ignoring us. She would just ignore us until we apologized for the behavior that made us upset that she did. Because she's the mom, we had to apologize to her. My dad threw tantrums by just literally throwing a tantrum like a child. So I'm throwing mine now. I think something that parents really need to learn is that you cannot insult your child in the same sentence that you tell them you love them. You cannot put your child down. You cannot sit here and treat your child like they have no sense of self. You can't treat your child like they are your property, like they owe you something, and then tell them, but I love you. You can't tell your child, no one else will love you like I love you. Family is only ever gonna love you this much. All you have is family. Because your own family will treat you worse than a friend would. My sister always came to me for everything instead of my parents, and my mom hated that. She used to be like, Alex is not your mom, and Alex will never love you as much as I love you. The funny thing is that my sister and I love each other more than our own parents love us. I think they think that they love us, but the way they treat us is not love. Because if a significant other treated us the way that they treat us, we would not be with them. So I'm not gonna take that from them. Blood is not always thicker than water. I think something that's crazy that I just realized was my entire life, my whole life goal was to be with someone who loves me, who doesn't have to love me. I don't know why I wanted that. I never understood why I just wanted someone who unconditionally loved me. Never understood why I always got in toxic relationships when both of my parents were in my life and they were actively involved in my life. Why did I get in these toxic relationships? Why was I so desperate for love? That's because I wasn't actually getting any of those things at home. I wasn't getting my needs met because I was constantly meeting my parents' needs. When my parents would tell me, family is all you have. No one is gonna love you as much as we love you. I would be like, I don't even like you. And if you're the only person who will love me because you have to, I don't want that. I want to find someone that loves me for me, because you guys don't even act like you like me. You don't like who I really am. You try to conform me to your standards. I can't be my own person. I was treated like property because I was an extension of them. Anything I did reflected on them. That's all that matters. Hispanic culture is fucking toxic as fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck what anybody wants to say. Don't come on here defending Hispanic culture because it is toxic and you fucking know it. The abuse and degrading and berating bullshit that Hispanic communities go through. Fucking control. Lack of boundaries and respect. Oh, maybe other cultures go through this too, but I'm telling you that I feel like Hispanic culture. Puerto Rico, people don't move out until you're married. 35, still living your broke ass at home because you haven't gotten married. I moved out at 25 because God forbid I tried to move out before that because I wasn't married. If I ever was just like expressing my frustration with anything, my parents would be like, well, you shouldn't have moved out. You can move back in. To this day, I am going to be 34 next month. Obviously, it's been hard for me to move during the last year in the pandemic across the country. My parents are like, just move back. Just move back in with us. Oh my God, no. I am an adult. I have to figure my shit out on my own. And you don't get to know every single fucking aspect of my life or my finances or anything. Don't even get me started on the sex life. That is nobody's business.
Family member has gotten upset with you posting on Facebook.
Everything. Literally everything. My parents get upset about everything I post on Facebook, even though all my dad does is post on Facebook all day. I unfollowed my dad like so long ago because I was like, you're so annoying, I can't look at your posts. But I finally just deleted and blocked them both because they're just so toxic. But the most recent thing that my mom got upset about was when I saw some post about having like a bunch of edibles and weed at your wedding, and I tagged a friend in it. And because I tagged a friend in it who smokes weed, my mom saw that I tagged her and then took a screenshot of it and then sent it to me and was like, are you smoking weed? And I was like, what? And if I was, I can if I want to. And she was like, why would you do this? We trusted you. I was trying to tell me how we lost people to it. I was like, you did not lose anybody to weed. We're doing a lot worse stuff. But also, ma'am, I am 34 years old. 34. She's so bad that I told my boyfriend to block her before we even got together. Okay, so I told you guys how yesterday my mom called my sister and started talking. Somehow the conversation turned towards me. My sister was real quick to put her in her place. She was like, first of all, you're not going to badmouth my sister. Second of all, Alex has every right to feel the way that she feels. The only reason that I can have a conversation with you is because I've seen through the bullshit since the minute I was born. My sister literally, I've told you guys about my sister. She was like ready to run away from home when she was like 3 years old. So she's like, I've been seeing this forever and I've been able to protect myself because I set boundaries. Alex went through it a lot worse because you guys knew that she was just so easily manipulated because she respected you guys so much and cared about the relationship so much that she would just do whatever you wanted to make you happy. But now that she's older and is away from you guys and is gaining her actual real independence, she's really hurt and she's really angry and she's really upset with everything you guys did and keep doing. And if it takes her a week, a month, a year, however long, a lifetime, she's allowed to take that long because it is 34 years of damage that you just want her to get over overnight. And that's just not going to happen. Yes, my sister is the best. My sister and I have been literally best friends since we were born. She used to literally tell people that we were twins. We're 2 years apart. My sister always thought she was older. She's 2 years younger than me, but anything that I was doing, she wanted to do. When we would be in church and like everything groups were broken up by ages, I would get moved up to like preteen and she's like, what, 9? And she's like, okay, I'm going with you. Like, no, you're still 9. And she's like, bye, peace, and left. My sister is literally a typical Gemini. She's like, I'm an independent woman. You can't tell me what to do. The more you tell her to do something, the less she's gonna do it. So all my life, she's been trying to like pull me away from my parents to make me see the truth. And I was just stuck in the middle. I just wanted everybody to be happy. Be like, oh my God, Annette, don't be disrespectful to them. And she's like, oh my God, you're a stupid bitch. Stop listening to them. She's like, I see the manipulation. I see what is happening. And she's always been right. She has the best instincts. I told you guys this. But yesterday during the conversation, my mom was like, well, Alex has been fighting a lot with people. And I was like, no, she's not fighting a lot with people. She's finally standing up for herself and removing all the toxic people from her life, which includes you. So I just got off work. I worked a breakfast shift. It was good, made good money. But I just checked my phone and my mom texted me, "Love you, God bless you." Ma'am, still haven't apologized. You still have not apologized. You cannot just text someone, "Love you, hope you're doing well," and think they're just gonna reply to you without an apology. How stubborn do you have to be to know that your daughter is cutting you off when you could easily just at least get some kind of communication with her by just saying, "I'm sorry, I was in the wrong, I fucked up"? But no, because narcissists can never admit that they're wrong. Problem is that I have always just let it go. I don't hold grudges. I don't stay mad, I don't stay angry. But that has fucked me over so much in my life. And I'm done getting fucked over. Be the bigger person? Nope, sorry, I'm gonna be this big. I'm gonna be this fucking little because it's not worth my mental health. It's not worth the toxicity. When you care about someone and you care about having them in your life, you take accountability for your actions and you at least apologize. Oh, the stories that I have for this one. My mom would not let me use a tampon because she said that then I would not be a virgin. Ma'am, do you know how the human body works? You cannot lose your virginity to any object that is not another human part. Is this... I'm so confused. Are you not an adult? Are you not a woman? Are you not an educated female? Where did this logic come from that if you use a tampon, you are no longer a virgin? First of all, if you think the size of a tampon is gonna break your hymen. If you think the size of a tampon that's about this big is the same size of a man's penis, that worries me. That really worries me. And you know what? I don't even want my brain to go to that image. But I was not allowed to use tampons all through high school. I think I started using tampons maybe senior year of high school because I wanted to go swimming and I was on my period and I couldn't go, so my cousin taught me how to put one on. And I never turned back. Fuck a pad, man. That shit's a diaper. I think this is just gonna be like a daily thing that I'm just gonna update you guys on because apparently me ignoring them isn't enough. So as you guys know, I said that my mom texted me this morning and I ignored it. So now I was just out eating with my sister and she called me. My sister's like, "Are you fucking kidding me? I literally just talked to her yesterday and told her, leave her alone. Give her space. She will talk to you when she wants to talk to you." Does she respect that? Does she respect boundaries? Does she respect anything that I fucking want? No. So she left me a voicemail. I'm trying to screen record it, but for some reason the audio wouldn't pick up. So I'll just tell you guys. First of all, I can hear it in her tone of voice that it is not sincere. She is angry. She says, "Hello. Just called to tell you that I love you and to forgive me for every wrong that I have caused in your life. Know that I am here and your father if you need anything from us. I was just calling you because I wanted to talk to you. I hope that you're doing well. I am praying for you. I am thinking of you. And you know that you can call me whenever you want." Again, she didn't say I'm sorry. She said, "Forgive me." So again, I have to do the action. Fuck you. Okay, I'm gonna try to be nice here because you are on my friends list and you are just speaking as someone without experience clearly of an abusive relationship, or if you have been in an abusive relationship, you don't realize that you're in an abusive relationship. So what you're doing right now is invalidating my experience and invalidating my truth. And I think that is something that we need to stop doing to other people. Just yesterday, my boyfriend went to put his leg on my thigh, or his foot on my thigh, and he kicked me. And I was like, "Ow, you kicked me." And he's like, "I didn't kick you." And I said, "I am the person who experienced the kick. I'm telling you that you kicked me." Instead of just being defensive, you should have said, "I'm so sorry, I didn't realize that I kicked you. I didn't mean to, I'm sorry." That's what you do. So when you're sitting here and saying, "Oh, but she's your mom, forgive and forget," I've been doing that for the last 34 years and that doesn't get me anywhere. So my dad always says the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So I'm now going to do the opposite of what I've always been doing, which is forgiving and forgetting, because I have to do that for my own mental health. So okay, so in continuation with my last video, for you to sit here and say like, "Oh, I can never cut my family off," like, good for you, congratulations, wonderful, we're all very happy for you, but your experience is not the same as everybody else's experience. So for you to sit here and tell people like, family's always going to be there for you, you don't know what people have gone through with their family, you don't know how their family has hurt them, how their family has abused them. So for you to sit here and be like, "It's your family," that is a toxic way of thinking. We do not owe our life to anybody. Our family decided to have us. We didn't ask to be here, so we're not indebted to them. They raised us until 18 years just because they gave us a place to live, food, and a healthy lifestyle to the point where we're not like fucking living on the streets. That doesn't mean that now we owe them the rest of our lives. We do not, if they didn't earn it. Respect is earned, it's not given, and they just don't deserve that. So if I feel like I'm constantly being hurt, I'm constantly being put down, I'm constantly just in pain and being manipulated because of what my family does, I'm allowed to cut them out because that is not good for my mental health, and I only get one life, and I'm not going to sit here and waste it on these people that hurt me. So I'm back with another update from my father now. So my dad texted me this morning, good morning, can I get your address? I was sleeping, I didn't reply. He's like, you blocked me on Facebook, so I can't access our messages to see what your address was, and you sent it to me. Fucking liar. Liar. I said, you blocked me on Facebook. He's like, not me. I'm gonna have to change my password. You're the fourth person to tell me that I blocked them. And I sent him a screenshot where it says that I can no longer reply to the conversation. And I said, that right there means that you blocked me. So either you're lying or mom blocked me from your account literally minutes after we had a conversation where I told you the truth about yourself and how I felt, which was about what, 4 o'clock in the morning your time. So I highly doubt that anybody but you actually blocked me. Sent him the address again, and I said, anyways, I blocked mom. I would like for you to keep me blocked because I do not want to engage in conversation with you guys anymore. It was like, anyway, you can block us, whatever makes you happy. We all see each other's flaws, but hardly our own. I know I've made a lot of mistakes. And I said, yet you still refuse to admit your wrongdoings and take accountability for your actions. I'm not going to keep wasting time trying to repair a relationship that is clearly never going to work because you're both too prideful and stubborn. I have asked to be left alone by both of you, and neither of you will respect my boundaries or my wishes. So yes, I'm going to block you both. Annette, my sister, will let you know if there ever is an issue. Until then, just assume that everything is fine with me. He was like, you're speaking as if you were just born into this world alone without anybody to raise you. We did the best that we could. We aren't perfect, but neither are you. If you keep focusing on the negative, you're just never going to be happy. We taught you about God. We showed you a hardworking family. Okay. We didn't have any vices, but if I only focused on the bad stuff you've done, like dating that Mary guy, he was separated, that would be totally unfair. But we have to just learn how to forgive and forget. That's how you show true love. You're just too stubborn and prideful. Projection. You're our daughter and we're always going to give you advice even when you think we shouldn't. When you finally start focusing on the good stuff instead of the bad, then you'll be truly happy. Okay, so in the last 2 videos, I actually was explaining what happened in the conversation with my dad because he was writing in Spanish, but from here on out, we wrote in English, so I'll just show you guys the screenshot, pause to read. Oh, also right here, he says, by the way, I've told you plenty of times from my heart that I am sorry. If you want to forgive me, fine. If not, fine. I'm your dad and I'll always love you and wish the best for you. But he never actually really apologized. He once said, so sorry, consider me dead. That's not a real apology. Anyways, read the rest. So while all this was going on, I get an alert on my phone that my card was charged for something from the vet, which I'm pissed about because I literally said in the notes, do not let anything be charged without my consent. So I need to call them back. So I called and I was like, why was my card charged? And they were like, oh, it was for the insulin, which is fine, but they didn't run it past me before they went over there and bought it. So I was pissed. Okay, so continuation with the whole vet visit and the insulin. I don't mind buying the insulin for Oliver. I told them that I would still cover the cost as long as it was not over what I would have originally paid had I not canceled his insurance. I was paying $52. It ended up costing $55, $57. I don't care about that. What I'm pissed about is, one, that the vet didn't run it by me first, which is fine because like this is a monthly thing, so they probably didn't think that this needed to be approved. But what I'm more pissed about is that my own parents didn't even let me know, like, hey, just so you know, we are gonna go get Oliver's insulin. This is how much it costs. And it's being charged to your card, or, you know, just so you know, like, are you okay with us doing it? Because it's my fucking money. And then he's like, oh, I'll just send you the money. I was gonna send it to you. No, you fucking weren't. You weren't gonna send it to me unless I fucking called you out on it. You really thought I wasn't getting notified that my card got charged? And then to be like, all you care about is money. You know who you sound like? My fucking ex that I sued. He would say the same shit. It's funny that broke people who don't have money, who use your money, love to say all you care about is money. Bitch, is my fucking money that I fucking worked for, not you. Okay, I had kind of explained this in another video, but I'll explain it again. I got Oliver in 2006, and I was not allergic to dogs. I became allergic to dogs 4 years after I got him. I lived at home until 2012, so I lived with him and took care of him and everything for 6 years. When I moved out, I left him at my parents' house because he was already used to and accustomed to that environment and that house. My parents both, my mom didn't work and my dad worked from home. I worked a lot, so it wasn't fair to take him to my house and then leave him alone all the time. Also, I literally moved to the neighborhood next to my parents, so I was about 1 minute away. There wasn't a time that Oliver was ever home alone. Somebody was always with him. My sister also worked from home, so he just rotated. Like, he would stay at my place, at my sister's place, at my parents' place. He always had somebody with him. But because I was so allergic, I couldn't have him with me all the time. And then I just ended up moving last year, and he's already like 14, so he's gonna die soon. And so there was no point in me bringing him to California for him to die here. Because it's been 14 years that he's been living at my parents' house. It's what he's used to. to. So I wasn't going to change him from his environment while he was already sick. So they've just been taking care of him for the last year. Okay, you guys should already know by now that the drama with my family just doesn't end. One thing a day is not enough. Gotta keep it going. Okay, so now here's the update with my mom. My sister sends me a screenshot of my mom's messages to her. She says, God bless you. I love you and it was never my intention to be mean to you guys. Please tell Alex that I love her a lot and to forgive me. Again, didn't say sorry, just to forgive me. It's okay if she never wants to talk to me again. I respect her and I understand her. I hope she's happy and takes care. God always first. And she sends a picture of us at the airport when we were leaving. That's me right there with the red hair. She sends baby pictures of us as if we like died and she's like never gonna see us again. Like, chill out. And she says this Bible verse that says, I will take away their stony, stubborn heart and give them tender, responsive heart. Like, what is that directed towards me? And then this one says, error has 3 steps: accepting, overcoming, and never repeating them. And then at the bottom she says, I always loved you guys. I was never perfect and I made mistakes. Getting really sick and tired of her putting my sister in the middle. She's her own person and deserves to be treated as such. I think it's completely unfair to have my sister just stuck in the middle of this. My sister has loved being the black sheep, the odd one out, like, leave me alone. I don't give a fuck about what's going on. Y'all can be in your drama and I'm gonna step back. But now that we live together and I cut them off, now she's got to be stuck in the middle. Now they're constantly messaging her to get some kind of connection and also to have access to me. You cannot get access to me through my sister. My sister is her own separate person. It is not fair to keep messaging her every day when you never really messaged her that much before, but now because I cut you off and you don't have access to me, you want to bother her. I don't know how many days have I gone now. It's been 2 weeks almost that I have said, give me space. Leave me alone. My sister has said, give us space, like, stop texting, stop messaging me. Will they fucking do it? Not a single day, not a single day. Can they just fucking leave us just one fucking day? On top of that, still haven't said I'm sorry. Just like, okay, just forgive us, forget about it and move on. I told my sister, you have to set boundaries. I'm not gonna let her ruin another relationship of mine with my own fucking sister. First of all, I want to say thank you for actually watching all my videos. I did see all the likes that you left on my videos. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Second of all, I just want to say, like, I really do appreciate comments like this and all the comments that everybody leaves me because it is really validating. Because sometimes I start to wonder, like, am I just being dramatic? Am I over exaggerating? But like, everything that I tell you guys is 100% true. And obviously I even show you guys the screenshots of the text messages. So you guys know I'm not like exaggerating. I'm not lying. I'm not lying about anything. This is really all stuff that happened, whether they believe it or not. It's like they don't remember that this shit happened, but it did, and it clearly still happened. A couple things I want to say. Show you guys how my mom keeps like involving my sister. Well, today my sister was like, do not involve me in the middle, like I'm my own person, whatever. So good for her. She set those boundaries. Let's see if they follow. Second of all, I want to thank everybody that told me that there are support groups for all this, because I signed up for a support group, and I'm gonna be joining on a Zoom call in an hour. So this is gonna be my first time. So hey guys, it's Mother's Day. I have an update about my mom. So you guys know I've been keeping you posted about my whole family drama. They've finally decided to just leave me alone, which is amazing because I wrote it in my manifestation journal. I said that they have given me my space and respected me, and that's exactly what happened after I wrote it down. Well, as some of you know, I had shrooms the other night, and a lot of childhood trauma was unlocked, and a lot of things just like resurfaced, and I just really figured a lot of stuff out. Like yesterday I posted videos about the SDA church and how I figured stuff out about that too, but I just really felt the need to like call my mom. I felt like I should talk to her and just get everything off my chest. So I ended up talking to her last night, and I kind of just like told her everything, and she seemed receptive, and she was like, she like apologized and stuff, and I told her, I was like, you never really apologized, you just told me to forgive you. And she was like, oh well, in Spanish it's like the same thing. So anyway, so she apologized, and she's like, I'm sorry, it's just in Spanish. You say perdóname is the same thing as saying I'm sorry as perdón. I'm like, okay, whatever, it's fine. We went into the whole discussion about what happened with Oliver and my dog, and she said it was miscommunication. Okay. I told her that I didn't want to hear like her excuses or reasonings for why she did things, but she still did give me her excuses and reasonings, and she said it's just a generational thing, you know, being Puerto Rican, like all this stuff. And I said Hispanic culture is toxic, you guys know that. But you know, I did cry a little bit, and I just told her, I really poured my heart out about a lot of stuff, and she cried a little bit. But then it's like, you know, when you're talking to a narcissist, you feel like they get it, and they like you're getting through to them. And she's like, I'm so happy that you're at peace, and like God has shown me so much stuff, and I told your dad to like, we gotta leave you guys alone, we're adults now, and like, and everything seems fine. And you're like, yes, like I'm getting through. But then she says things in the conversation that when you play back the conversation in your head, you're like, yeah, that's like narcissistic shit to say though. So like, for example, she was like, yeah, I mean, all we can do is just not talk to you guys. Cause like, what else are we gonna do? What do you want us to do? Like kill ourselves? You want us just to kill ourselves? And it's like, why do you have to be so dramatic? Why do you have to take it to that level? I'm like, okay. And then she's like, you know, if my daughters, like I told you now, like if our daughters just like, we thought we were good parents, but it turns out we were shit parents. So like, if our daughters just like hate us and are bored of us and don't want anything to do with us and don't love us, then, you know, we just have to accept it. That's our karma. And like, she wasn't saying it sarcastically, like she was really saying it like for real, but it's like, who says that? You know, it's comments like that's how you know that somebody is a narcissist. Like that's just not normal things. But and then she like kept repeating as if she wanted validation from me, to be like, no, you were great parents, I love you. And it's like, I told her, I was like, there were good times, but that does not outweigh the bad. Like we need to discuss the bad stuff. And then I would bring stuff up like from the past, and then she'd like, you know, she'd hear me out, and then she'd be like, okay, well, you know, it's in the past, so let's move on. It's like, no. I was like, no, I have to say this stuff. You have to listen, because you don't listen. And then I was like, why does it have to be like so extreme? Like, why do we have to not talk to you? Or why do you have to kill yourself? Why can't you just change? And then she's like, well, you know, like we're older and it's just our generation and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you can change. If you care about someone's relationship, you can learn how to communicate better. And she's like, well, you know, I could tell you the same thing. Like, that's like me telling you, like, Alex, you should stop cursing. I'm like, me using a curse word to emphasize my frustration is not the same as the abuse that like the emotional psychological abuse and the bullshit that you put me through. And she's like, well, I feel disrespected when you curse. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, your sister never did that to us, and you were always cursing. And I said, you never respected me, you never respected my needs, and you never respected my boundaries. So subconsciously, maybe that was my way of showing you that I don't respect you, because you guys never cared to respect me, but you wanted me to respect you. And she was like, oh yeah, like I see what you're saying. And she was like, well, I just thought I was protecting you, like I just wanted to protect you, but I know I was too overprotective. But you know, there were things that you were doing that I didn't think that they were right. And I was like what? And she's like, you know, like guys you were dating. And I was like, are you talking about this person? And she was like, yeah. And I'm like, I was 22, I was an adult already. I mean, mentally, I feel like I was really like 16, because I was like, because you kept me so sheltered. You kept me so sheltered that mentally I was not developed enough to realize what I was doing. But physically, I knew what I was doing, and I did it because I wanted to do it, because I finally had the freedom to do it. That's why I did it. But yeah, mentally, it fucked me up. But you know what? It's something that I had to go through, because that was my first relationship with a narcissist that I realized and recognized and learned what narcissism was. And that is how I've grown. And I have done the research to better myself. And I'm like, you guys don't want to do the research, and you don't want to go to therapy, and you don't want to get better. You want to stay stuck in this cycle. Like, just fucking do the work. Okay, so then she also told me that she decided that she's just not going to be talking to people or like posting on Facebook and stuff. And by talking to people, she really just means like her sister that she hangs out with all the time, because she's like, yeah, she just gossips a lot. And I was like, you gossip a lot and you talk shit about everyone. You always find something negative to say about people. And she was like, I know, and that's why like I'm going to work on that, and I just have to like cut her off right now. And I'm like, why do you put the blame on other people? Like, why don't you just say like, hey, she likes to gossip, but like, hey, when we hang out, like, do you think you could just cut down on that? Like, I really want to work on it. That's what you do. I don't know, it's just like, you can cut a toxic person out when they're the toxic ones. And it's like, if it's a gossiping thing, you can have a conversation about that. Like, I've cut people out that are toxic because it's a repetitive thing, and I have addressed the issue, and if it doesn't go anywhere, then I cut them off. But if this was the issue, I'd be like, hey, I'm really trying to work on not gossiping, like, can we try to do that? And then I'm sure my aunt would be more than happy to do that. So I kind of just felt like she was like trying to not take blame for herself. Well, she did say, she's like, you know, I know I have a problem. My problem is that I like to fight, and if I just don't talk to people, then I just won't fight. And it's like, you can talk to people and work on not fucking fighting. Like, what? You don't just cut people out because you have a problem. You work on your issue. I had to explain to her how she's the one who started the fights between us, the last 2 fights we had, but she wants to blame me because I was disrespectful because I cursed at her. And I was like, I had to take her through the conversation to explain how she started the fight. Also, my sister had talked to her and told her, I told you guys, and my sister set her straight, and my sister told her, like, this is the things that you have done to us. This is why Alex is upset. Then when I called her yesterday, I was like, I know that Annette already kind of gave you a rundown. And she's like, what? And I was like, yeah, like she told you when you asked her, like, what did I do that was so horrible? And she was like, no, she didn't. And I said, yeah, she did. And she kept telling me, no, she didn't. I'm like, you fucking gaslighter. And I was like, oh, did you just forget? And she was like, no, she never did that. And Annette was sitting in the living room, and she was like, she's such a fucking liar. Anyway, so yeah, there was like a few narcissistic traits that came out subtly that, I'm sure she didn't realize. I did tell her that I was like, that I called you those 2 days that we fought. I called you to tell you about my first day of work that I was so excited about, amazing new job that I have, and you made me cry on my first day of work. And then the next day I woke up to drama and cried on my second day. And I was like, that's what narcissists do. They ruin like big events for people. And she was like, what? And I was like, I know you don't realize it. It's a psychological thing that you subconsciously do. You start these fights to ruin people's day because you need to make everything about you. Also, she says, I know that you think I was being inconsiderate of your money because of Oliver, but I was going through a lot. Like, your uncle is dying and I'm taking care of your grandma, and your dad had gotten hurt, and you didn't think about what I was going through. It's sometimes we just get into our own problems and don't realize other people's. And I was like, I knew exactly what you were going through, but one thing has nothing to do with the other. Just because you're going through shit doesn't mean you get to be an asshole to me. And I told her, I had just finished telling her, Mom, like, our whole life growing up, everything was always, you didn't think about how that made me feel. Are you thinking about how that makes us look? What about me? Everything was about you. And I'm like, what about me? And then that's when she's like, and then she brings up that thing about Oliver. And she was like, I know you thought I wasn't being inconsiderate, but like, you didn't think about my feelings. I just told you that all you do is put everything about you. Everything is about your feelings and how you're feeling. What about me? And then you just fucking pulled it again. Anyway, at the end of the conversation, she was like, well, thank you for calling. I'm glad we talked. And like, I understand, like, you never have to talk to me again. Whatever makes you happy to be at peace. I'm totally happy for you. I get it. Like, whatever, right? And then she's like, I was like, all right, Mom, well, have a good night. And then she was like, okay, well, it was a pleasure being your mother. As if like, she's no longer going to be my mom. It's comments like that like, she does not realize that are just such narcissist shit. All right, guys, let me give you the family update. So that night that I made the video, my sister had gotten the mail, and we had actually received a Christmas card from my parents with gift cards for my sister and I. But I know for a fact that they didn't send that until after they got ours. Or they were sending it as they got ours, because I think like my sister had asked like what they wanted or something. They were like, oh, well, we hadn't planned on sending you guys anything because like you came here, and so like, you being here and us, whatever we gave you while you were here was our gift for you. So let me think. They let me use a car. They let me borrow the car so I didn't have to rent one. And they cooked, and then she gave me like, I think like 2 shirts or something. So I guess that was their gift to us. I don't know what they gave my sister, which is like, okay, I don't care about the gifts. It's just to show how transactional everything is with them. So I sent them a video in the group chat, a TikTok video about enmeshment, within families. And I said, watch this, you might learn something. And then the next day, my sister wrote in the group chat and was like, oh, showed a picture that we got the card and was like, thank you guys. And they were like, okay, love you, like as if nothing happened. And that bothered me because they just always act like nothing happened and just, let's just ignore everything, right? So then my sister sends me a screenshot from a message that she had gotten from my mom that she hadn't seen yet because she has the notifications turned off, from when, right after my mom had talked to me when that day that I was at Target and I was like really short with her, and she sent my sister a message and said, you need to stop gossiping about us to your sister, me. You need to stop gossiping about us to your sister and creating like rifts between us. Don't do it again for your own good. That she said that to my 32-year-old sister. Stop gossiping about us and creating rifts between us and your sister. And you know what I did? I blocked them. I blocked my mom. I blocked my dad on Messenger. I already have them like not on Facebook, but I blocked them on Messenger. And I left the group chats, all the group chats, I left them without explanation. And I almost explained why. And I was going to say thank you for the cards. But if they bring it up, I will mail them the money. I will Venmo them the money that they sent me. I don't give a shit. But it pissed me off because, again, that is undermining my intelligence, as if I cannot make my own decisions. And they never once want to take responsibility for their actions. They blame my sister. Oh, you're creating a rift between us because you're gossiping. All she did was tell me what you did and how you spoke to her. And because I care about her and I love her, I am allowed to be defensive of that and not like the way you talk to my sister and cut you off because of that. And what pisses me off is that my mom has always done this. She has always made sure that nobody gets involved in the arguments. The arguments are between her and the other person, and nobody else is ever allowed to come to the defense of anyone. So if my dad, this is one of the reasons why I don't get along with my dad like that much, is because he would try to defend us when we were younger and would tell my mom, like, you gotta back off, you can't be talking to them like that, like, you're gonna ruin your relationship with them. And she would be like, I am not talking to you, stay out of it, as if we weren't also his daughters and he couldn't come to our defense. And then when I would try to defend my sister for something, she would say, I am not talking to you, stay out of it, this is between us, you guys need to stop getting involved in each other's arguments, like, this has nothing to do with you. Okay, so if I am witnessing someone get berated or get abused or be mistreated, even just mistreated or disrespected, I am allowed to come to their defense because you just made it my problem by doing it in front of me. And because I am now aware of this issue, I am allowed to speak up about it. Especially when it's somebody that I care about and I love. She would say, no, this has nothing to do with you. Mind your business. Stop talking. Nobody invited you into this conversation. And that's just how she handled everything. Everything was, nobody was talking to you, I'm talking to her. And then she would create arguments with everybody, and then nobody could ever defend anybody in the family. Nobody could talk, nobody. And then if you try to talk to someone about her, she would be like, do not talk about me. Keep my name out of your mouth. That is disrespectful. You do not talk bad about me. You do not talk about your family. Do not, I would like try to vent to like my best friend or even like my aunt or my cousin, and they'd be like, she'd be like, do not talk to them because they come back and tell me everything. And then you're the one that looks bad because you were bad mouthing me. And I'm like, okay, so if you think I'm bad mouthing you, then wouldn't you think that your behavior is what is wrong? Because I'm only recounting what happened and retelling the story of what you did. So if it makes you look bad, maybe change your fucking actions. Like the TikTok said, if you don't want people to think you're a bad person, maybe don't do things that make you look like a bad person. So their philosophy raising us was always like, family is everything. Family is the only one who cares about you. Nobody else will ever love you like we love you. Like, it was so much manipulation and gaslighting. And it was like, don't trust anyone. The world's evil. Nobody's gonna love you like we love you. We're blood. We are all you have kind of bullshit. So they raised us to be this way. So my sister and I are best friends. We bonded over this, over our trauma. And because we have each other's back, anytime we did, it was like, stay out of our fucking business. Oh, you're the reason this is like this. You're protecting them or you're defending them and you're creating risk between us. As if, again, I don't have a brain to be able to make a judgment about you based on how you're treating someone that I love and care about. Well, my mom wants to sit here and claim that, oh, she's changed and she's doing better, but she's still doing the same shit. The passive aggressive message. And then they tried to gaslight me. When I said, oh, you send stuff like that and then wonder why we don't talk to you. Wow. You get so defensive. All we did was just send a video and send a message. It had nothing to do with you. No. Do you think I'm a fucking moron? Do you think I don't have a fucking brain cell? I know what you're doing. All you do is gaslight me. Anytime I would bring something up like, oh, okay, so you're talking about me. No. Why do you think I'm talking about you? No, I would never do that. Then all she does is judge, like she's sitting here trying to tell my sister what she can and can't do with her own body. I'd be like, well, I didn't say that. The Bible says that. That is her defense for literally everything. So in the last part, I said the reason I don't really get along with my dad that well is because he would try to defend us and then she would, stop him from doing that. And then he did. He just sides with her because they don't have anyone else. They only have each other, okay? They don't have a life outside of us, like focusing on us. My dad has like 2 friends and then my mom only has her family, really. Like, they don't have a life. I'm sorry, but they just don't. So that's why they're so obsessed with us. So now, since they're all each other has, they gang up together against us. We're the problem. We're the issues. We're the disrespectful ones. At our entire lives, all they called us was ungrateful. Malcriada. Always have an attitude. You guys always have this attitude. Where do you think we got it from? You don't respect us. You don't respect our opinion. Well, I'm your mother. Honor thy father and mother. And I said, and the Bible also says, and do not bring your children to anger. But you love leaving that part out, don't you? You love just cherry picking what you want to follow from the Bible. Even just from that same verse. Honor thy father and mother. But parents, do not bring your children to anger. And tell me what I am ungrateful for. Just tell me, why am I ungrateful? So if I want to sit here and ask, like, what have you done for me that I'm acting ungrateful? So you provided for me. Yeah, you gave, they don't get it. They're like, what did we do that was so bad? Like, because they only think of physical abuse. So they're like, what did we do? Like, you had everything you wanted and we loved you and we care about you and we protected you. We gave everything for you. You know what? You know what my crime was? Is that I loved you too much. That's what they say. Okay, that's what my mom says. Because they don't think about the control, manipulation, the jealousy, the possession, the possessiveness, the gaslighting, the narcissistic bullshit that they've done. They still do to this day. And anytime I try to call it out, it's like my mom will like have a glimmer of, oh, okay, yeah, you're right. And then just go back and revert to that. So then when I'm like, okay, go to therapy, she's like, okay, yeah, just tell me what therapist you're at, because I'd love to go to that one because he's doing such a great job. And I'm like, I'm not in therapy. She's like, oh, I thought you were. Again, passive aggressive. So my solution is to just block them and not talk to them. But then it sucks because it puts my sister in this weird spot. So yeah, my sister gets annoyed with them and, you know, doesn't want to talk to them, but my sister has known who they were and how they were since she was little. She just like came into this world with this knowledge of what was going on, and she would try to protect me so much and she protected herself a lot. She built up these walls and she just knew not to let them in and to set boundaries. She set boundaries from a very, very, very young age. Like, she would lock her door all the time, and they would get so mad, and I never locked my door, and they would just barge in. I mean, my dad always knocked, but my mom would just barge in, whether I was getting dressed, undressed, whatever I was doing, she just barged in, no privacy. She would read through like my journals. I have a calendar I've had written in my calendar since I was in 6th grade, and I would write everything that happened in the day. She would read through it, and then she'd be like acting as if she just knew everything about my life, but it's because she was reading my shit. And she was using that as a manipulation to put this fear of God in me. Like, I always know God tells me everything. And it's like, you were reading my stuff, you fucking psycho. So I have so much trauma that has happened with her. And, I just woke up to all this. Okay. So I just woke up to this. And now she's like, okay, but like, let's move on now, because I get it. Like, you told me and I understand, and I'm working on changing. But how is she working on changing? Because she hasn't changed her environment, and all she does is read the Bible all day. So she's only regurgitating the same shit over and over again. She's not trying to expand her mind. And if she does expand her mind, it's because a pastor preached about it, and now it's okay for her to believe that. So how can you tell me you're not religious when you are religious, because you're only following because, oh, well, now they said it's okay, so it's okay. Anyways, so it puts my sister in a weird position because she's fine with talking to them at a distance, but I want to cut them off completely because my life is happier without them in it. Sorry, but if I know this sounds really bad, but I saw it on a TikTok comment where somebody said, when I imagined what I would like my life to be, my parents were not in it, and it makes me feel bad that I thought about them dead. And it's like, listen, it's because they have trapped you so much that you feel free. And my sister said, I am not waiting until they are dead in the ground to live my life. I'm going to live it now. And honestly, that's what I'm going to tell them if I talk to them again. Listen, it's either you guys are dead and I will feel free, or I cut you off now and I can live my life, because all you do is judge me and criticize me. And then my mom will be like, well, maybe it's the Holy Spirit. Maybe that's God talking to you. No, it's you. You're judgmental. And I do not like you as a person. I don't like either of them as people. And I've told my mom, if you were not my mother, if you were not my parents, I would not have a relationship with you. I do not like you as people. You guys suck as human beings. I'm so sorry. You think you're so great, but you're not. Your personality sucks. So it puts my sister in a weird position because they will blame everything on her. And then she's stuck in the middle and she just wants to keep the peace. So I feel so bad. Sorry, I'm just like ranting on right now. So if you guys are interested in my rants, let me know. But if not, I'm sorry.
Hey guys, quick update. My sore throat kind of went away yesterday throughout the day, but then I woke up with it again today, and it's just like right here. Yesterday was like in the back of my throat, like mouth behind the uvula, and then now it's like down here. Anyway, I talked to Rock this morning. We had a Zoom meeting, but I don't think we're gonna go live today just because I'm still not 100% better. We're gonna go live sometime next week, so I'll update you guys on that. Okay, now to continue with my rant about religion and the Bible. Okay, so after I made that video, this video popped up on my For You page about a Bible that was made in the 1700s and how different it is from the Bible that we have today. And I was like, oh my God, I was just talking about this, of course, because the For You page knows. So she was saying that her friend has a copy of a Bible from the 1700s, and it has like pictures in it, like drawings and all this stuff. And I have seen stuff like that on YouTube too. And apparently she was just saying, she's like, once I saw this Bible, like my eyes were so open to the truth, because they took out so much stuff from the Bible, like that had to do with the stars and astrology and all that stuff. And I always wondered about that, because my mom used to always be like, oh, don't trust like astrology or psychics or none of that stuff. It's not real, which like, I'm sure there's a lot of it that's not real. But then I'm like, what if it is? What if all that stuff was real, like magic and like, which I do believe is all real, but like they didn't want us to know that it was, so that we would just think it was evil and then never like be more powerful than we could be, right? And then I was looking through my chats with my mom and I found this that she had sent to me. By the way, I always like ignore everything she sends me because it's so annoying, but I found this and I want to show you guys. Okay, so apparently this is a Bible verse. It says, do not be overly righteous, neither make yourself overly wise. Why should you destroy yourself? I'm sorry, what? I'm so sorry. I have a very hard time believing that that wasn't put in by someone who didn't want to have control and power over people. Because you're going to tell me that God doesn't want you to be wise and that God doesn't want you to be smart. He wants you to stay dumb because you'll destroy yourself if you're too knowledgeable? Sounds like some made up bullshit, okay? And that's why I think that they're just like, just follow this Bible. This is the truth. This is all there is. Do not question it. Do not think outside of this or you will go to hell. And it's like, I don't think that God created us to be dumb. I don't think so, especially if he created us in his image. If he created us in his image, wouldn't he want us to be smart, to be wise, to be knowledgeable, to know the truth about things? This is all propaganda. Like with pretty much everything else in Christianity. Something else that I found. We are called to honor God above all else, above all wants, desires, dreams, above ourselves. I don't buy it. This is exactly why I never wanted kids, because I was like, I will never want a kid to feel as miserable as I feel right now. I'll make a part 2. Part 2. We are called to honor God above all else, above all wants, desires, dreams, above ourselves. So like I was saying in the last part, this is why I never wanted kids, because I felt trapped in the life that I had, because I was raised in such a religious household that my mom claimed was not religious, that she said, no, we're just following the Bible and we're just following God's, orders. It was very religious, okay, because we were following the religious rules of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. And I felt like I never got to be me. I didn't get to believe the things I wanted to believe in. I loved Halloween. I loved horror movies. I loved, I wasn't allowed to dress up for Halloween. I wasn't allowed to celebrate Halloween. She hated that I was into that stuff. I was always into that. Like I always wanted to watch The Craft. Like I thought like witches were cool, like black magic, like astrology. Like I always wanted to be into that stuff. I wanted to get piercings. I'd still to this day, like I got my ears pierced. My mom pierced them when I was a baby and then took them out when I was 2 when she converted to being Seventh-day Adventist, because Seventh-day Adventists don't wear jewelry or anything. So I don't wear jewelry now. I'm not interested in it now, just because like now I'm 34 and I've never done it. I don't really care to now. I wanted to get piercings, dye my hair. I wanted to like, listen to certain music. I wanted to do certain things. I was boy crazy, and believe me, if it wasn't for my mom putting the fear of God in me that I would get pregnant the minute I had sex, I would have lost my virginity way sooner, because I lost my virginity in my 20s because I was scared of God that I would get pregnant and that would be my consequences for having sex. But I would have been, you know what? Like, God knows why she had to be my mother, because I would have been the fucking craziest wild child if it wasn't for her being as strict as she was. So I feel like that was the positive, that it like controlled me and made me like, stay in the right side of things, in the right lane. Because what if we really are reincarnated, and I have been through this life so many times and kept fucking up because I'm so crazy that I had to have her as my mom. But then now with everything going on, it's like her karma that now she's, paying for her shit with how I'm treating her by like blocking her and teaching her a lesson because she's a fucking narcissist. So I think we both have like karmic debt that we have to pay to each other, I guess, and teach each other a lesson, right? But you can't tell me that God created us to be unhappy, because that is how I felt. And the fact that I haven't turned my back on God from my upbringing, only because I know I've seen with my own eyes what he's done for my life, and I have faith in him or it, whatever it is, that is the best testimony that I can have, because my mom should be grateful because of the way that she raised us. Everyone that I know that grew up in the church I went to is all gone. They're all gone because it's just so crazy and fucked up and fucks with your head. I'm gonna just keep talking about this, so I'll make it part 3. So, you guys know that I don't work on the Sabbath, right? Okay, so here's the thing. I'm totally okay with that now just because, like, I grew up that way. I love having Saturdays off. I love having a day off that is dedicated to just resting and not thinking about the rat race, okay? So I'm okay with that. But I have to tell you that growing up and missing so much really sucked. I mean, from Friday night to Saturday night sundown, I wasn't allowed to do anything. We would either go to church on Friday night, and then of course we would go to church on Saturday morning, or we would just, stay at home and just, it would be me, my mom, and my sister all just, talking, reading the Bible and hanging out. Like, it was very boring. We weren't allowed to, like, my mom wouldn't cook. She wouldn't do any labor because you're not supposed to do any labor. We weren't allowed to watch TV. We couldn't listen to any music unless it was Christian music. And, like, my mom wasn't as strict on certain things just because my dad was not Seventh-day Adventist. So, like, he was more lenient. So we could go to the movie theater. But a lot of people from my church, like, wouldn't go to the movie theater because that's where the demons came out. Evil stuff came out in the movies. So much stuff. I mean, a lot of Seventh-day Adventists are vegetarian, which is great. Seventh-day Adventists are known to, like, live longer lives because of their healthy lifestyle, which is great. But, like, we ate, we weren't vegetarian, but I don't eat pork. I don't eat bottom feeders. I don't eat certain stuff, which is also great. I do follow some of the stuff, but it really sucked to not be able to, like, be in certain sports because they would play on Saturdays. I couldn't go to certain school events because it happened on Saturdays. I could only play soccer in high school because their games were never on Saturdays. They were during the week. And then it also sucked when it came to, like, what I wanted to do as a profession. Like, with me being a makeup artist, I missed a lot of opportunities because they were on Saturdays. I had an interview for the golf channel and I was like, I can't work on Saturdays. And they're like, well, it's golf. Of course it's on Saturday. And I was like, well, my religion, blah, blah, blah. And the lady was like, well, I'm Christian and I work on Sundays. And I was like, well, that's your prerogative. And I was very strong with my beliefs, which is fine. Like, I still survived, but it sucked to miss out on so much because of it. And I finally broke. That was when I finally got hired for Halloween Horror Nights, because I had applied to Halloween Horror Nights so many years and I never got it. And I finally got an interview, called back for an interview, and I was like, I'm doing whatever it takes. And so when they said, can you work? I was like, I can work anything, any day, whatever you want, whatever. And I did end up having to work, like, it was really just like Friday nights, because by the point Saturday, it's like, it's already sundown, so it wasn't a big deal. But my mom, like, was so angry. And at this point, I got hired in 2016. So I was almost 30. I was 29. And my mom was like, you're gonna work on Saturday? You can't do that. And I'm like, shut up. Like, this is my dream. I want to work it. It's not a big deal. I think it'll be okay. So people used to always tell me, like, Alex, you don't think that God just wants you to be happy? He'll forgive you if you work on Saturday. It's not a big deal. And I used to be like, no, like, I have to do this. This is what we're supposed to do. Like, he sacrificed everything for us, and he's giving us eternal life. Like, we just have to, our life on this earth is to sacrifice for him, which again, I don't regret doing because I was blessed. But I always wondered, what if I was born into a different family? What if this wasn't my family and I could just do what I wanted and I could pursue my goals and I could pursue my dreams? This is why I was like, I can't have a kid, because I don't want to force them to do something they don't want to do, which, like, now obviously I know that I don't have to do that, but at this point I don't want a kid anyway because I'm already too old and I just don't want to. But I always thought about it, and I used to always tell my mom, because she'd be like, no, these other religions are wrong, they're worshiping the wrong God. And I'm like, what makes you think that you're right? And she's like, because I am, because this is what the Bible says and this is what we're following. I'm like, but what if I had been born to a different family? What if I had been born in a different country and I practiced a different religion? Are you gonna tell me that I would go to hell because of that? Like, that's so ignorant to think. And she just was like, she's very adamant that, her beliefs are the right beliefs, and people worshiping like any other gods are wrong. But that brings me to my next subject. The reason that I think that parents think that their children owe them something is because the Bible makes it seem like we owe God everything because he sent his son to sacrifice himself on the cross for us. And because of that, now we owe him our lives. And we have to sacrifice our lives and put everything, our wants, needs, desires, dreams, like that quote said, on the back burner for him and do everything for him. And I think that that is why parents say that I gave everything up for you, so now you owe me everything. You have to love me because I sacrificed my life for you. And again, I say to both of those, to parents and to the people saying, well, God sacrificed, his son for you. I did not ask for either one of those things. I did not ask one to be born, and I didn't ask my parents to sacrifice everything for me, and I didn't ask God to send his son to die on the cross for me. I appreciate everything, but that does not mean you give something to someone and expecting something in return, because the person on the receiving end didn't know that there were repercussions or there was a contract or something. What is it? The person on the receiving end didn't know it was a transactional thing that they were doing. They were just thrown into it and were like, hey, I did this for you, now you owe me. And it's like, what? I just popped up here. I didn't ask for this. What the fuck is this? All right, I know this is like going on a lot, but I'm ranting right now. And if you guys want to stick around for it, thank you for sticking around for it. If you don't, you can scroll. It's okay. It's not going to hurt my feelings. I understand. Okay. So as I was looking through the chats with my mom, I found two things that she had sent me, and I would like to share them with you. As you guys know, I told you that I usually ignore everything she sends me, so these were like sent in between like a bunch of videos and other shit that she would send me, and I would just ignore them. I never looked at them. But now that I have her blocked, I wanted to go through our conversation and see the pattern. And there were times me being like, can you please stop sending me this stuff? She'd be like, oh my god, sorry, and then do it again. Like, she just doesn't respect boundaries. Anyway, let me show you why I just said how, like, I feel like parents think they are entitled to their child's love because of how the Bible presents, like, we are God's children, so we owe him everything. So then parents also feel like they are our God, essentially, and we owe them everything. Look how fucked up the mentality is of these boomers. These are in Spanish, but I'll translate them. This is one she sent me. Forgive your father, for it may have been that he had a childhood that he did not heal from. Break the cycle and love him. Oh, so he had a rough childhood. Didn't go to therapy. Passes on the trauma onto his children. But it's my responsibility to break the cycle and just love him anyway. No, don't set boundaries. No. Just love him. Just love him anyway. Who cares what he's done to you? Who cares if it's constant verbal abuse and validation? Who cares if he's constantly calling you ungrateful, says you're a smart ass? Oh, okay, Miss Perfect, you know it all. Lashes out at you like a fucking child with a tantrum. Who cares? Who cares? Love him. Love him, even though he doesn't show the same kind of love towards you. Just love him anyway. Oh, and I know that he's gonna literally bawl if I don't even say happy birthday to him. His birthday's coming up in February. But let me tell you that on my birthday, my mom called and video called with both of them on chat, and he refused to look at me. He was on his phone the entire time. He didn't wish me a happy birthday. He said happy birthday once my mom called, was like, oh, happy birthday, but it was only because he was forced to. He didn't text me happy birthday. He didn't call me to say happy birthday. He only did it because my mom did. So I really want to match his energy, but I also am like, should I be like the bigger person, just say a happy birthday text? That's like the max he's gonna get out of me, just to, like, keep the peace between my sister and us four and not have to hear it? Or should I just match his energy? I really want to match his energy, but knowing me, I'll probably just at least say happy birthday. Anyways, let me show you what else I found. Okay, so this is the next thing that I found. Okay, so it says, love is not begged for, which in Spanish, it's the two words, ruega and mendiga, same thing. It means begged for. So, love is not begged for, especially not from a parent to their daughter. Yeah, my mom sent me that. No, it's not their responsibility to want to earn our love. No, we're just supposed to give it to them. That's the mentality that they have. And anytime, I would be like, I don't want to talk to you guys. You guys are annoying. Like, I just said, oh, well, you're stuck with us. You're stuck with us because we're your family. So, oh, well, sucks for you. And it's like, the funny thing is that I don't have to talk to you.
I actually don't. Isn't that funny? I have a cousin that lives in California as well, and she hasn't talked to my aunt, no joke, for like 20 years. 20 years. She just cut her off. She would like randomly through the years, like once in a blue moon, randomly call her, and that was it. And they'd be like, oh my gosh, the poor her, she's so lost, like let's pray she comes back. And I'm like, there has to be a reason that she doesn't want to talk to you, okay? So maybe she opened her eyes to the truth a lot sooner than everybody else did. But whatever the case is, let's say she's just crazy and really doesn't want to talk. She just wants to live her own life and whatever, you know, crazy because she doesn't want to be associated with the family. Guess what? She did it, and so can I. Okay, so I can set boundaries, and I think that they think that because they never set boundaries. Like my mom would be like, even now, I'm just like, you know, still hurt by everything and stuff. In the chat, I found it when I was like, okay, well, these are the consequences to your actions because you don't respect my boundaries. She's like, that's in the past. I said, no, it's not. You don't get to choose when I'm over things. And she'd be like, wow, I can't imagine holding a grudge for so long. I would never treat my mother this way. Like, yeah, my mom did stuff, but oh well, I forgave her because she's my mom. I'm like, okay, well, good for you. You want to live with that? That's fine. I don't have to be forced to deal with someone who constantly has drama, okay? Even just this morning, she started drama with my sister. And she's like, playing the victim. She's like, everybody's always against me. Everybody's always against me. It's because I'm doing the Lord's work. Like, she always plays the victim, and she says, the enemy is trying to break up the family unit. This is what he wants. And it's like, why don't you just take responsibility that it's your fault? It's not God, the Bible, or the enemy. It's you. You are responsible for your actions. Stop blaming all these other outside factors and take responsibility. Okay, I'm gonna have to wrap this up because now I'm on part 7 because I don't shut up and I could go on forever about this. But my mom is a narcissist, as you guys know, so she has a God complex, and anytime I would call her out on it and be like, people don't like being around you because you think you're better than them. You act like you're better than everyone and you judge everyone. She's like, oh my God, Señor reprenda. God forbid. Absolutely not. I would never do that. No, I know I am nothing. I would never act that way. Yet judging everyone all the time and making everyone feel like shit, and then telling people that it is her job because she is a servant of God and she has to tell everyone, and she will never stop. I will never stop telling people what the word of God says because it is my job as his child of God. I am his child and I am his servant, and I have to tell people, I'm like, you're not a savior. Stop with your God complex. You cannot save people. You've done your job. You've said it. If people want to ignore it, if people want to take it, whatever, but shut up. It is not your job to save people, and stop using God and the Bible as a weapon because that is not what it was made for. And let it be known that Jesus had disciples and people that followed him because he led by example, because he was kind and he was welcoming with people with how they were. He was loving. He was a giving person. He was nice. He wasn't trying to force people to follow him. He just said, hey, this is who I am. You want to follow me? Follow me. Cool. If you don't. So the way that you're presenting God is the reason that people don't like Christians, because you force it down their fucking throat. And you're lucky that my sister and I haven't turned our back on God because of your example, because we're smarter than that. We can have our own relationship with him without, and the first person that left the comment that I started this whole video thread with said that her mom said that it's either all or nothing. That's how my mom is. Like, you can't be lukewarm. You can't be lukewarm. That's bullshit. Okay. I just don't buy it. Like, if you're born into this world having certain ideals and thoughts, it's because that's who you are on the inside. And like, exactly like my sister said, if we were what she had taught us, then we would still be that now. But because we've left our environment, which is why I think it's so important to always leave your environment to figure out who you really are. Because we've left our environment, we now are thinking for ourselves because we're not in the manipulation, brainwash, mindfuck that she had us in. And now she thinks, oh my God, they moved to California and the enemy has gotten to them. No, it's just that I left the brainwashing system that you had me under and the control. And now I can think for myself, and now I can be who I really have always felt on the inside. And I hated my life and didn't want to be here because of how you raised me to think that every thought that I had was wrong and evil and I was going to go to hell for it. Now I'm just living my life and maybe trying to enjoy it a little bit, the little bit that I can, without feeling guilty for every fucking movement that I make and every little thing. Which, by the way, I can get into the Bible and so many things that I didn't agree with, and we'll start with Corinthians and fornication, which I never fucking believed in, and my mom was always like, you're fornicating, and I'm like, I don't believe it. I don't buy this. This seems like some made up bullshit that somebody put in the Bible. Oh my God, I need to stop because I can go on forever about this shit. Hey guys, so I wanted to give you a quick update on my parents. This morning I got a call from my dad and I didn't answer it, and then right away I got a text from my sister and she said, Dad wants to know what you want to do with your makeup head, and I'll explain. They're cleaning the garage. So I went to school for beauty and special effects makeup, and when I was in makeup school, they took a cast of my head up until my shoulders. We also took a face cast. So what that means is that there is like a stone statue of my head and my shoulders at my parents' house because we were, told to keep it and we could work on it so that we can make prosthetic pieces along with the face. And I was like, she was like, so they want to know what you want to do with it. Do you want it? Do you want them to mail it to you? Or what do you want to do with it? And I'm like, no, I don't want them to mail it to me. That is so heavy. It's made out of ceramic, like stone, like cement material. I'm like, no, I can't have them ship that to me. I also have nowhere to put it here. So I was like, I guess if it's bothering them that much, then they can throw it out. She was like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah. So that's what I was thinking that it was the whole time. And then I was like, God, they're just so annoying. Like, why do they, how is my stuff taking up so much room? Like, they have a 3-bedroom house with a garage. They're only 2 people. We only left a few things there when we moved. Why do they have to get rid of this? And I was like, ugh, I know mom's gonna ask me about the head that I sculpted, and that I would want because it's only a foam piece and it's light to ship, so I don't want her throwing that out. And she's like, wait, so do you not want them to throw it out? And I was like, wait, what head are you talking about? And she goes, I don't know, Dad just said the head. And I was like, okay, no, if it's my piece that I sculpted, obviously I want that, then yeah, then ship it. This is the headpiece that I sculpted. It's still at their house. So she wrote back and was like, okay, if it's the foam headpiece that she sculpted, she wants it. If it's the stone head, then I guess throw it out because it's too heavy to mail. And then later on I was thinking about it and I'm like, why do they need to get rid of our stuff? Like, normal parents usually keep their kids' stuff so that they have things to look back on. And I live in a very small apartment in California. I don't have room for all this stuff. Is it really bothering them that much? Or do they just want something to be annoying about? Well, I went ahead and just sent them a group text and said, I don't have money right now to be paying for you guys to be sending me anything. My stuff at your house isn't taking up that much room. Please just keep my stuff there. It's not that big of a deal. You have a 3-bedroom house with a garage. There is no way that me or Annette's stuff is bothering you guys that much. And I live in a small apartment in California. It doesn't have that much room for extra stuff. Please be considerate of the fact that I'm a millennial who will probably never own a house. So it's not like I'll have room for my stuff. I would appreciate it if you guys could just hold on to it since you have a huge house with so much room and you're only 2 people. Thank you. They didn't reply. We'll see if they reply tomorrow. Okay, don't mind me. I didn't go to sleep till 6 a.m. and then I woke up at 11 and look like shit. But I wanted to use your comment because you're still on my friends list, and this is gonna make me sound like such a bitch, but I really don't give a shit. Your comment is 100% right. If they wanted me to take my stuff, they could have told me when I was just there. So at first, the comments on this video were supportive. I went to sleep at 6 a.m. and it was like everyone decided to attack me and be like, get a storage unit. Like, it's not their responsibility to hold on to your shit. I'm not getting a storage unit for one fucking box of like old yearbooks and photos. Are you delusional? No. But the box is heavy with the stuff that I have. It's memories. I have Hispanic parents. Hispanic parents hold on to everything. My parents especially like to hoard a lot of stuff. So I know for a fact that my shit isn't bothering them. Also, like you said, if they wanted me to take my stuff, they could have told me while I was there. I could have packed it and paid for an extra luggage instead of paying for shipping, which is going to cost so much more. Also, unless you have narcissistic or emotionally immature parents, you don't get it. You don't know what they're doing. They're bored and they're just trying to find something to stress me out over so that they have access to me. Now, I'm usually not the type to be like, you need to agree with me, or, I don't want anything to do with you. But when it comes to this situation with my parents, I 100% am gonna act like that because I can't fit my entire life and tell you all of my stories in these few minutes. So I understand that this is my fault for oversharing my personal family drama with you guys, and you guys are only hearing a snippet of it. But let's remember that I was fine with them up until I decided to move to California and I had my awakening, and I realized through TikTok and through a lot of other stuff that I was being psychologically abused with the shit that they were doing to me, because my mom is a narcissist, my dad is codependent, and they're both emotionally immature. So I'm just now waking up to all this, which is why I have so much resentment and anger towards them. Of course, I would like to fix the relationship, but me cutting off contact is me setting boundaries with them. So I don't have time to explain my whole history of my relationship with my parents to you guys, but I can assure you that they are only doing this to have access to me. And I need the people on my friends list to be supportive of my process and what I'm going through. And if you're gonna sit here and attack me and be like, well, you should do this, you should do that, I will remove you. And the people who did attack me, I did remove, because this is my safe space. This is my space to vent, because I can't afford therapy and I need people to be supportive of what I'm going through, even if you don't get it. And I understand that you're only speaking from your experience, but if you disagree with me, it's because you haven't gone through what I've gone through. So just keep your mouth shut and keep scrolling. Okay, so you guys know that I haven't talked to my parents since like January 11th. That was the day that I was like, please stop texting me, whatever. And then I had like that little hiccup with like my prosthetic piece or whatever, and I texted them about that, which they ignored, by the way, never replied back. But I haven't talked to them since then. And then it turns out that like my dad's brother passed away, my uncle passed away, and I didn't reach out during that time. I just didn't want to. And then another one of his brothers passed away. So I was like, fuck, okay, now I feel like I have to reach out. So I ended up reaching out, and just through text, I didn't want to call him, and I just said, so sorry what you're going through, you know, just, you know, keep faith, whatever. Anyways, he was like, oh, thank you so much, like it means so much, blah blah blah, because he had told my sister, like, I can't believe your sister didn't reach out to me when my brother died. And it's like, that's not my problem, like, you guys need to deal with it yourselves. So then, because I reached out then the next day, he's like, oh, we're flying to Puerto Rico for like the funeral. And I was like, be safe, that's it, right? With my mom, I had not talked to her for like the whole month or whatever. She kept texting me and I didn't reply, and then once she texted me something about how the Puerto Rican servers were going on strike, so I was like, send me the link. That's all I said back. And then she ended up sending me, and then I was like, thank you. So then she kept texting me and I wasn't replying back. And then 2 days ago, she texted me and she was like, hi, I have a question. Do you ever plan on talking to us again? And I wanted to be like, no, or just not reply, right? And then I was like, how selfish and how entitled of you to think that I just have to talk to you without you even apologizing, like in my head. So then she ends up texting me like an hour later and was like, I just want to apologize for like all of my mistakes as mom. Like, I'm asking God to help me through all this, blah, 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 whatever. And she's like, I wish I could say this to you in person, but I understand and I'm respecting your space, blah, blah, blah. So she kept texting me all this stuff, and I'm like, dude, chill out. I ended up replying back and I said, thank you for apologizing, thank you for respecting my space and boundaries. And she said, you're welcome. And then like I found an article about me that was written in Spanish, so I linked it to her so that she could see it, which was about like chilies and COVID or whatever. And she was like, oh, are they still talking about this? And I was like, well, I recently posted a video and went viral, so I just wanted to show you the article. And she was like, oh, cool. So I guess because I sent her that, she thinks we're like BFFs. So then she's like, won't stop texting me. She like texted me the next day, then like yesterday and everything. So when she texted me yesterday, I was like, Mom, I asked you to respect my space and boundaries. Please stop texting me. And she was like, oh, I can't text you, but you can text me. Oh, don't worry, I won't text you. Like, bitch, you have been texting me for a month nonstop and I haven't replied to you. So I literally said back, I said, you texted me. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to text you. I said, you texted me apologizing. I said, thank you for respecting my space and boundaries. And then I sent you a link to an article to make you happy. You can feel a little bit involved. Now you won't leave me alone. Literally, I am fine with not talking to you or dad ever again. And she was like, okay, so we die for you and then you don't love us anymore, just making sure. I was like, I'm blocking you, goodbye. Like, what kind of fucking God complex is that? You didn't die for me, and I don't want you to die for me. Please do not. I didn't ask to be here, and I'm not asking you to die for me either. Like, what the fucking manipulation and gaslighting?
Hi, this video is for friends only. Hi friends, I haven't seen you in so long. I'm so sorry. I haven't made friends only videos in so long because now I've been so much more open about my life that I just tell you guys everything. Anyway, who's been here since the beginning? October of 2020. I think I was wearing this shirt and I said, you're going to see this shirt a lot because I have about 5 of them and I wear them all the time. Anyways, I haven't updated you guys on any family drama for a very long time, and that's because there really hasn't been any. So you guys know that I was having this huge problem with my parents, and like obviously I've been working through everything through all of my plant medicine and hypnotherapy and everything that I've been doing. Well, even though I had left the group chats and I had like cut off communication, they still had access to me because, in case of an emergency. Well, it turns out that two of my dad's brothers died. I mean, he's one of 13, he's the youngest one. He's had a lot of them, okay? But anyway, two of his brothers died. And so at first I didn't say anything with the first one because I was like, I already set boundaries and I don't want to have to reach out. But then the second one died and I was like, okay, I guess I'll have to reach out. So I reached out during that time. During the time was around their birthdays, February, March. So, there were some texts going back and forth, but the more that I was open with you guys, the more that my mom did not like it. Therefore, she was constantly texting me, blowing me up, saying that like I'm worshiping false gods, that I'm doing brujeria, witchcraft, that I'm worshiping Satan, that I'm going to go to hell. And it was just nonstop. So eventually I finally got tired of it, which was, I think on August 31st, I finally put my foot down. So she was going on and on and on and on. And finally, this was before August 31st, I said, I'm done with you. I'm blocking you. You no longer have access to me. Goodbye. Go get psychological help. I told her that she has demons inside her, and then she told me that I have demons inside me and that they came out during ayahuasca. Anyways, she's been blocked since then, and so has my dad, because my dad actually did reach out on July 14th, which was the anniversary of my dog dying. And so, of course, I answered because I was like, okay, I think I'm in a good headspace. I've worked on myself enough. We talked for 3 hours, and I was so happy that we actually made a connection, and I felt like he was being respectful as a parent, but respecting me as like an adult. Well, after that, I didn't hear from him again. And so I was hurt because I felt like my mom got into his head and then he just like didn't care to reach out again. So anyways, when my mom was blowing me up and like calling me all these names and saying that I'm going to help, I told her that I was blocking her. And then I also texted my dad and I said, I'm extremely hurt that you did not reach out to me again. And he said, well, I'm busy. What did you expect? You never reach out to me, so I don't see what the problem is. Okay, so obviously you didn't learn your lesson from me cutting you off for about 6 months. So now you get no relationship with me because you don't care enough to notice any of the warning signs and anything that I'm trying to get across. So now they're both blocked. So then, of course, my mom keeps blowing up my sister and being like, tell your sister this, tell your sister that. And so my sister was stuck in the middle and was like, I can't do this anymore. You need to talk to them. Well, of course, I didn't want to talk to them, but I did. I lowered my vibration to go to her and text my mom a long ass text, told her everything I wanted to say, and it was not nice. Okay. And then, oh my God, I have more drama. I feel like I should make a part 2. Okay, part 2 of my family drama because I'm catching you guys up because it's been a while. So anyways, my mom is texting my sister and being like, tell your sister this, tell your sister that. And my sister was like, I'm tired of being in the middle. My sister has been trying to set boundaries since like January, being like, don't include me in the middle. I'm my own person. But of course, parents don't respect boundaries, right? So my sister's begging me to reach out to my mom. And I was like, no, I set boundaries. You now need to set boundaries. I'm done. I'm not going to be caught in the middle. And then of course, she's like, well, she keeps bothering me. So then I lower my standards. I cross my own boundaries and I reach out to my mom. I sent her this long ass mean text, told her everything. I really didn't give a shit. And then my mom was like so offended by it, like could not believe it. Then she was delusional enough to say, God told me that I have to go to California to talk to Alex in person. So you think that me setting boundaries, cutting you off completely means that you should cross boundaries even more. So at this point, I was fucking livid because I found out through my aunt. So my aunts told me, hey, did you know that your mom wants to go over there because they know that I don't have a relationship with her anymore? And I was like, absolutely not. So guess what? There was only one aunt that knew everything. Her twin. They don't get along. Well, I decided to reconnect with her because I was like, I want to hear her side of the story. And turns out my aunt's cool and my mom's a fucking liar. Okay. So anyways, I built a relationship with my aunt and we're cool. And then she hears from my other aunt that my mom wants to come visit to California. So then my aunt reaches out, tells me, and I was like, absolutely not. So we get on a 3-way call with my other aunt and I spill the beans. I tell her everything about how abusive my mom was my entire life. And my aunt could not believe it and was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, we'll put a stop to it. Well, my sister gets up from a nap and I was like, did you know that mom wants to come here? And she was like, well, she told me she wanted to, but she didn't tell me she was coming. And I said, no. Well, she told all our aunts that she was coming. And she was like, absolutely the fuck not. I would not open the door for her. So my sister texted my mom and said, if you come here, you're not getting in. I will not open the door for you. And my mom was like, oh my God, what are you talking about? And she was like, you know what I'm talking about. You're not coming here. So anyway, they get on the phone and then my dad starts getting involved. And she was like, I'm done talking to you until I can have a conversation with just you. So my sister puts her foot down and says, you're not coming here. Alex doesn't want to talk to you and I don't want you here. It's just going to create drama. And then she told her that my aunts were the one that told me. So guess what? My mom got caught in a lie because my mom had told my aunts that God told her that she had to come and she was going to come. And then when my aunts were like, well, when are you going? When are you going? It was after she talked to my sister was like, no, you're not coming. And then she was like, oh my God, I don't know. I'm like not feeling good. So I guess I'm not going to go. And so I'm like, oh, so you couldn't just tell the truth that you weren't coming because we told you not to come? No, because she wanted to save face because she's a fucking Libra moon. So anyways, that happened on August 31st. So finally I had people on my side because I finally stopped protecting her image and told everyone the truth. And that was on August 31st. And then I feel like I really shifted dimensions in September 1st. And everything has been going amazing since then. Literally, it's been this whole month and it's been so peaceful and it's been so amazing. And honestly, I'm fine without my parents. I mean, obviously, I hope they're healing. And if we are entering the new earth, I would like them to be with me, but a better version of them who understand what I did was for them. This is what unconditional love is. Setting boundaries, putting yourself first, and letting the other person know that they cannot emotionally violate you, okay?
Today is August 31st, 2023, which officially marks 1 year since I've gone no contact with my parents. If you guys don't know, I've been on my self-healing journey a little over a year now, and part of it was my relationship with my parents, specifically my mother, who is a narcissist. This isn't something that I really talk about like super publicly, especially not on this page, but I just have to say that I did it. Like, I never in a million years, I'm Puerto Rican, I grew up in a very Christian Seventh-day Adventist household. Never in a million years did I think that I could cut my parents off and go no contact, specifically with my mom. My mom was literally my best friend. It has been a really hard but healing year. I have spent a lot of time doing shadow work, a lot of time just self-reflecting, a lot of time learning that it's okay for me to be my own person and that I don't have to do everything that my parents expect out of me at 36 years old, and that if I don't like a person, they don't have to be in my life. Sometimes you really have to just look at people and be like, if you were not my blood, would I associate with you? And if the answer is no, then I feel like it's completely okay to just distance yourself from that person. I think a lot of us, especially Hispanics, get roped into, oh my God, but that's your mom. Oh my God, but that's your dad. Like, oh my God, what do you mean you're not talking to them? But like, oh my God, ay pobrecito, pero like, they don't understand, they're older. I don't care. You're twice as old, you should be twice as wise. I'm here to break these generational curses. This is not easy for me. This is not easy to go no contact with your parents. But when they don't respect your boundaries and you are not seen and you are not heard, you need to do whatever you need to do to put yourself first. The trauma is not worth it. We know we're starseeds. We know we're here to break these generational curses. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Don't let anybody make you feel like shit because you decided to put yourself first, because you decided to heal, and because you decided to break free from the abuse that nobody sees that is abuse. And you will be made out to be like the bitch. You'll seem like the bitch. You'll seem like the heartless one. You'll seem like, oh my God, I can't believe it. You're so, look, what if they die? What if they die? And then the sad part is that they died being stubborn. It was not me. I tried. I put in the effort. Years of me voicing my opinion, voicing my feelings, saying your words hurt me, and it falling on deaf ears. So this past year has been so healing for me, though it was so difficult. I am so proud of myself, and I just wanted to say I'm very proud of myself. Happy anniversary to me. You did it. You're a fucking badass bitch. And anybody who is feeling in this position, you can do it. You can do it. I promise you, you can do it. Put yourself first. You matter. This is your life, no one else's. Do what you need to do to protect yourself and to save yourself. You are here to save yourself. Do whatever you need to do to save yourself, because you come first. I love you. Yes, I really do think that being Seventh-day Adventist did definitely add a whole other layer to having a narcissistic mother, because then it becomes like religious trauma on top of narcissism, which you can have like a religious narcissist. A lot of narcissists tend to be religious and they have a God complex. So on my Instagram, I had somebody ask me this question, which is very similar to what you were saying. So I do want to talk about what my response was. So this person said, I was unfortunately SDA growing up too, and I endured quite a bit of trauma during those years. Do you think your parents' behavior has anything to do with being SDA? Now, I grew up SDA and I was until 2020, literally. And my mom became Seventh-day Adventist when I was 2 years old. She grew up Catholic. We're Puerto Rican. Then when she was old enough to go, research her own religion, she went and visited a whole bunch of the other churches and then landed on the Seventh-day Adventist Church and felt that it was most in tune with the Bible. So because she felt that it was the most linked and aligned with the Bible, that's what she changed to when I was 2 years old. So my response was, my mom became SDA when I was 2 and completely changed to follow the rules. She was obsessed with preparing us for Jesus' second return and Judgment Day. It was so intense and too much to take in as a child, but I just got used to it and followed it as well, even though it made no sense in my head. My mom says she isn't religious, but she is because she cares more about the Bible than an actual relationship with God or people. She wants to sacrifice her life for God because she thinks that's how she will earn eternal life. It is a sad life to live. Who would want to worship a God so evil? I hope one day she opens her eyes and her heart to real love, because that is not love, that is abuse. Now, my dad was not Seventh-day Adventist, but he just pretty much followed whatever my mom said. But it was nice to have a balance between someone who was like so far extreme to someone who could just be a little more chill. Thank God, because that kept me sane. But I mean, even as little kids, like my mom was preparing us for Jesus' second coming. She would be like, okay, let's pretend like the angels are coming down from heaven and there's like trumpets and, Jesus is coming and the dead are rising again. And we were just like literally doing drills on like Jesus' second coming. Now, I have to say that I think that doing this to a child's mind, and it wasn't scary to me. It wasn't scary, but I think when you're a young developing brain, this is the kind of stuff that like you should not be really that exposed to. Like religious trauma is real. And when you're in a church and they're telling you all of these rules and that you're going to go to hell if you don't do this and you don't do that, and like Jesus is going to come back and all this stuff, it can be traumatizing. And I think that our parents grew up in this culture and this society that was just so Christian based, and this country was literally built on Christianity, which is insane to me, because we're supposed to have a separation of church and state. And the only reason I like the there's a lot of reasons I like the Seventh-day Adventist Church. I did like the Seventh-day Adventist Church until I realized that religion is all bullshit. But I liked that they followed the Sabbath that was on Saturday, because Constantine changed it from Saturday to Sunday. And I like the fact that they stayed true to their values on that. And they were very, following the Bible as close as I've been able to see. But when you don't agree that the Bible is the end all be all, because you know that it has been tampered with, and you know that the Catholic Church actually fucked with the Bible, and when you know that King James wrote the King James version of the Bible, and he also wrote a book on how to burn witches and literally kill women, essentially, and then he also wrote the Bible, then you're like, so you're gonna tell me that he didn't sprinkle in a little bit of his bullshit in there of like how to make women inferior, and that women are supposed to be essentially servants to the men of the head of the household? I mean, if we look at the Bible like logically, we're going to find a lot of faults in it. And so that is the reason why I don't follow religion anymore. But I don't see anything wrong with the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Like, as far as I go, I didn't have any trauma there. What I had more trauma with was my mother and forcing me into a religion that didn't make sense in my head. Like, it did make sense, but it didn't make sense. Like, the whole like not being able to have sex before marriage was so strange to me, because I'm like, then why do we get like feelings at like 11 years old? Like, why is this happening? This makes no sense. Like, God would not put that there if we weren't meant to explore that. And the whole like, oh, you can't be gay thing, that was strange to me, because I'm like, so you're gonna tell me that God makes every single person, but then he makes gay people, but then condemns gay people for being gay? This makes no sense. Like, it was so confusing in my head, because I'm thinking things logically, but I'm living in a household where it's like I have to believe that, or all hell will break loose. So it wasn't until I finally stood up for myself and was like, I'm not doing this and I'm going to start doing things for my own, that I started breaking free of that and realizing the trauma that went along with that. And unfortunately, I do feel like my mother is still stuck in that cycle where she would rather follow the Bible and follow religion rather than have a relationship with God. Because if you have a relationship with God, then you are not afraid. You do not fear. You should not want to worship a God who's going to condemn you and send you to hell hell, to the burning pits of hell. If you don't follow what he says, that is abuse. That is abuse. You should not sacrifice yourself for anyone, okay? That is not love. And the conditions that church and religion puts on people, that is conditional love. That is not God's love. Following these rules are not God's love. You should be in tune with yourself, tuning into your guides, to your higher self, to source, to God, whatever. But you do not need to be following these fucking rules that are from the 1700s, This shit needs to go. Anyways, I could go on this rant forever, but yeah. Being Seventh-day Adventist did play a role in how my mother raised me and her narcissism. And she felt like she was one with God to the point where she was the only one who could get these messages and she's the only one who was right. Though she will tell you that that is absolutely not true and that, no, she's just a humble servant of God, but yet will try to control your life any way that she can. And this is what a lot of narcissists do, especially if they are involved with religious narcissism. So I can make so many more videos about this. Let me know if you guys have any questions or if there's anything that you want me to talk about specifically. This is what is so important, to leave your abuser. Leave your abuser. Do not be too scared. Do not be too scared to speak out. Do not be too scared, because if you stay in their hands, they will kill you or you will kill yourself by trying to please them. I just told my sister this morning, my parents do not, have never, and will never care about my mental health, how their actions affect us mentally, emotionally, psychologically, physically. They do not care. They were driving me to insanity to the point where I didn't want to be alive. And they still don't see the issue. There is no greater love than Christian hate. These people are insane. They think that they are a messenger from the Lord to tell you how to live your life. And all they do is try to control the outside world, because that's our job. The Lord sent us as his messenger. But then if you try to say, well, I have a message, and not you. Who are you, you little peasant? I am representing God, not you. Leave the church. Sorry, gotta say it. Leave the church. They're fucking you up. Okay, they're fucking you up. The reason you aren't happy with your life is because you're trying to please the system. Happy Sunday, everybody. Happy Sunday. Leave the fucking church, because it's killing you on the inside. And you don't even realize it, because you're never going to be good enough. You're never going to be good enough. Fuck all these people who are telling you how to live your life. They're miserable because they think that there's some like ladder to heaven and some hierarchy, and that when they get over there, like they're gonna be able to like prove how amazing they were to God, and then they get like more in heaven. They're insane. They're literally so dumb. They're so uneducated. These people do not see past themselves. They're zoomed into the religious Bible and the cult and the bubble, that they're not seeing outside of themselves. And if you, God forbid, have a differing opinion, you are the devil. You are possessed. They're so uneducated. Please pay attention to who your source is, and then evaluate if you want to listen to them or not. These people put themselves on a pedestal, acting like they know what's best for your life. They are manipulating you because they want full control, because they themselves think they are God. Okay? The reason that I'm speaking out and sharing my story now is because I'm doing this for me and my sister, because she also doesn't get to have a voice, because they just silence us. You know, they've silenced us our whole life. And I'm doing this for everybody else who's in it and thinks that they can't get out. You can. You can get out. And the reason that you keep ending up in abusive relationships is because you're not healing your trauma, and you're still seeking validation from others, and you're still in your trauma because you're allowing that trauma to repeat with other people. The trauma just keeps recycling from person to person until you break free. You have to break free. I was making really bad decisions, bad life decisions, bad relationship decisions, bad friendship decisions. I was just making bad decisions that I thought were the right thing for me or whatever, because of how I was living my life, how I was raised. Like, when my own parents are abusing me and then telling me no one will ever love you like I love you, what do you think that does to you? You just find other people who abuse you because you think that that's love. Okay? When I have to prove my love and my loyalty to my own parents and earn their love, because, you know, I didn't deserve it. We didn't deserve it. We didn't deserve their love because they're just so grandiose and amazing. how do you think that's going to affect me in my adult life going into relationships and friendships? I always was overextending myself, over trying to prove myself to people, trying to get their validation, their affection, their love, to make me feel whole, because that's what I was taught. You give and give and give and fill everybody's cup, but fuck your cup. The minute that you stand up for yourself and you're like, okay, no more, I'm not doing this. Oh, you're the bitch. You're the bitch. You're the worst person ever. Because you're not letting people suck you dry anymore. Because you're standing up for yourself. Because you're setting boundaries. Now you're the bitch. Cut people off and see how, like, literally set boundaries, and you'll find out who the true people are. And you want that. It may hurt. Damn, I thought you were a real one. But thank you, God, for showing me and opening my eyes to who you really are. You fucking piece of shit. Get the fuck out of my way. That's how you need to see it. Stop crying over these people and wanting to win their love. They're shit. They're shit, and they're horrible, and they're miserable, and they want you to be miserable with them. Don't let that happen. I'm freaking chapstick. It's like annoying me. Don't let that happen. These people hate themselves and hate their lives, and they think that controlling the outside world is going to make their life better, but they will never be happy. Nothing will ever be enough, because they're not enough, because they don't love themselves, because they haven't healed their trauma. And do you want that to be you? I'm sure you don't. I'm sure you don't want that to be you, because I am so aware now that, looking back at myself, if I had met someone like me, I would be like, this girl is dumb. This girl is so dumb. And that's why I got taken advantage of. And that's why my mom would tell me, you're kind of dumb, because I was dumb by believing all these lies. I was believing all of it. And because of fear of my parents and the church and of God that I was being told was God, this evil God who's going to punish you, which I didn't believe in, I kept doing it. I kept being a dum-dum because I don't want to be embarrassed about changing. I don't want to change and be embarrassed. It's embarrassing to stay stuck. It's embarrassing to stay in the same place and have the audacity, like these people do, to harass others thinking they're right because they haven't evolved. And they're like, but it's the end of days. It's the end of days. And they're all possessed. Everybody is possessed. They see evil in the entire world but them. That's a cult. That's a cult, baby cakes. You're in a cult. If you're seeing evil everywhere except yourself, you're in a cult. Break out of it. And this also goes for like the people who are not religious and who are just consuming all of the fucking media. You're in a cult. If you're seeing evil everywhere except yourself and you're like, oh my God, it's all caving in around me. It's because you're in the cult. You're in the matrix. This is your algorithm. You're creating it for yourself. Break out of it. Change it. If you're only seeing evil and horrible hell everywhere you go, it's inside of you. Sorry to say it. When I did ayahuasca, where did I go? To the fucking pits of hell. I got stuck in a fucking infinite loop of hell. Because it's what I needed to see. It will take you to the depths of your own personal hell. And you want to get there because that's destruction and that's a rebirth. And that's how the phoenix rises from the ashes, okay? If you really want to heal, you want to break these generational curses, you have to go deep, baby. You gotta go deep within, and you're gonna shatter every fucking mask you've been wearing. Every day more of my mask gets taken off, and I fucking love it. I'm getting closer to the root of who I am, to my soul. And the fact that I get to share this publicly and loudly for the entire world to watch if they wanted to, I am proud. I am loud and proud of who I am, because I made myself this way for a reason before I came to Earth, because I knew that this would be a monumental time in history, in the galaxies, in the cosmos, and that I am a huge shift in this reality. I am creating so much change. I am creating such a ripple effect in consciousness, and this is amazing. This is fucking cool. And this is why I am so proud of myself that I've gotten here and that I didn't let anybody tear me down. Any of these uneducated fucks who don't even know how to see past themselves. You think I'm gonna listen to some uneducated piece of shit, and sorry to say it, but you think you're so smart. So let's put it in perspective for you. You stayed where you are. You can't see past your nose. You can't see past. You're so zoomed in your tiny little life. Okay? People like me, we're going all the way in, we're going deep, we're learning, we're evolving, we're students of the universe. And if that makes you feel like we're better than you, it's because maybe the shoe fits. Like, if that's how you feel, I hate when people are like, oh, so you think you're better than me now? And it's like, well, if that's how you feel, that you think that I think I'm better than you, that's something you need to reflect on, because I didn't say I'm better than you. I'm just saying I'm not going to listen to you because you're uneducated. So why would I listen to you? And when I say uneducated, I don't mean in like a scholar, like going to college type of way. I mean, you haven't educated yourself on what is the purpose of life. You haven't educated yourself on the history of what really is our universe, our cosmos, your soul blueprint. Like, why would I listen to you? People want to say like, they may say like they don't believe in it or whatever, but like, just because you don't believe in it doesn't make it not true. Just like the whole Illuminati thing. Like, just because you guys don't believe that these people are selling their souls, that it doesn't make it not true. So just like with me, like, just because you don't believe that I'm channeling dead people doesn't make it not true. Like, you can choose to believe whatever you want, but it doesn't make it not true, because the evidence is there and you're just choosing to believe the lie. Do not be scared to change. Do not be scared to leave your old version of you behind. Do not be scared to step into a whole different version of you, because this is a multiverse and there's so many different versions of you, and you can be anyone that you want. If you see a vision of yourself, that version of you is out there. It is in the vortex. You have to meet it, because your higher self cannot come down and meet you. But for confirmation, you have to go up and meet your higher self. Okay, you got to get up there. You have to take your power back. You're giving your power away to too many people. Fuck what anybody thinks. It is time to step into your power, step into your purpose, and leave all that bullshit behind.